guys have to stop guessing the color I just wore 2 shows ago. I can't wear blue if I just wore blue or red if I just wore red, but I am in red. It's been a few days. Guys, welcome in. Real Baron Podcast. Baron Coleman here with you. The opening I'm going to give you tonight was originally going to be the opening for tomorrow, and I will explain in a few minutes why I have changed that up. I've changed that up quite a bit, because tomorrow's show is going to take on a totally different feel than I anticipated when I set out this weekend and planned out the week. So I'll tell you what that is in just a second. But welcome in, hit the like button, hit the subscribe, share with your friends, hit the notification, tell everyone how awesome your humble host is. Oh, I didn't add that part. Don't do that. But yes, we are not befuddled by daisies around here. We are not a Joe Caliber. This is a high IQ outfit. So welcome into this high IQ outfit. And tonight's going to be stellar. Tonight's going to be a banger. Tomorrow is going to be unbelievable. I think tomorrow's going to be unbelievable. I'll just spoil the surprise. I'll spoil the surprise as people come in. I'll let you know what's Ian and I talked today. We are going to do a joint show tomorrow night, broadcast to both platforms, and it's going to be a terrific program. We've got a little plan on what's going to happen and how it's going to go, and it's going to be awesome. It's going to be awesome. Someone said the sound wasn't synced. If it's not synced, just reset hit refresh. Hit refresh. I'll get another view out of it. That's the way it works out. I'm just kidding. It doesn't work that way. But yeah, so we'll get through the opening tonight. Got a lot of good information. Got some information that may be new to some of you. Some of you who pay particularly close attention. It may not be the newest information you've ever run across, but there is a lot of pretty good information out there that's just been sort of hanging out in the background that I need to bring up to the front. And I was reminded on an X post here recently of some information that I have intended to talk about in the past and want to get that out in front of you tonight. So let me do this. Let me run through the opening statement. When I read this, you'll understand why it was going to be tomorrow's and why it has changed to today's. But yeah, tomorrow, the plan is, of course, that can always change. If somebody wakes up with the flu, somebody has to run across the country on short notice, that could change. But the plan is, as of right now, Ian and I will be live tomorrow night about the same time, 6 or 7 o'clock, and we'll have quite a bit of fun. So if you are a fan of either program, you're going to love it. I think the synergy will be fantastic. When we have conversations off air, they really go far places. And so it'd be nice to kind of have one of those on air and see just how rowdy we can get on air. All right, let me get the opening statement pulled up here. And yeah, welcome in, Rumblers. Your second live show over there. Your second live show, Rumbleinos. All right. So yeah, that's tomorrow. Tomorrow's going to be huge. Tonight, I really like tonight. I spent a long time thinking, dwelling, marinating on how this opening statement would go, and I think it's turned out well. So we'll get to that. Ready? Here we go for the opening statement. Tomorrow, it says on the screen today, but I'm changing it tomorrow. Tomorrow marks the 5th anniversary of the events at the United States Capitol on January 6th, 2021, excuse me. Despite efforts by the elitists on both sides of the aisle to try to make the events that day a tipping point for America, it largely was a protest that got out of hand. Sure, there were violent clashes between protesters and law enforcement. Sure, there were buildings breached. Sure, there was trespassing and vandalization, but those aren't the hallmarks of a revolution. Those are the hallmarks of a protest that gets out of hand. The reality is that nobody inside or outside of the United States government believed for a single second the republic was in danger of falling that day. The United States government has never and will never be led by some guy wandering around a public building in Washington, D.C. in Viking horns. The question of who leads our great nation doesn't come down to whose feet are propped up on the desk in the speaker's office. So what was that? What was January 6th, if not an attempt to overthrow the United States government? The answer is, as we sit here 5 years later, we don't really know. We know Democrats attempted to run on the issue of January 6th for 2 straight election cycles. We found out that Democrats did not realize the American people either don't understand the issue or more likely don't care about the issue. At least they don't care about a protest in Washington, D.C., as much as they care about, say, housing prices, wars, inflation, immigration, or the economy in general. The sad reality is that as of tomorrow, we likely will never know about what truly happened on January 6, 2021. For the past 5 years, the incidents that day have been twisted into a narrative that paints everyday Americans, even excessively exuberant everyday Americans, as villains. And the reporting ignores the real culprits behind the chaos. The actual basic facts about what happened that day are fairly simple. Most everyone agrees on them. If you don't remember them, I'll give you a quick rundown. A crowd showed up in Washington, D.C. because they were upset about the election. Donald Trump gave a speech near the White House. Near the end of that speech, and shortly after the speech, a mass of people moved from near the White House to near the Capitol building. A perimeter had been established outside the Capitol building. The area inside the perimeter was off limits to the public. Some members of the public had a confrontation with officers patrolling the perimeter. The public eventually breached the perimeter and moved closer to the Capitol building. The public eventually breached the Capitol building. Many of the employees and elected officials in the building left the building, and members of the public occupied the building for several hours. Order eventually was restored. The public was removed. Elected officials and employees returned, and Congress went back into session on the evening of January 6, ultimately certifying the election of Joe Biden just a few hours behind schedule. To my knowledge, those are facts. Almost no sane person disagrees with those facts. And those facts, while not ideal, don't seem like an event worthy of 2 cycles of national Democrat campaigns, thousands of hours of primetime news coverage, and a general sense of hysteria that the strongest and most powerful nation to ever exist on the planet might actually have been in danger of falling. So as we sit here on what tomorrow will be 5 full years later, and with Trump back in the White House, you'd think we'd have closure about what happened on January 6th. In fact, countless questions remain unanswered. And the longer they remain unanswered, the more it fuels our distrust in the system. These questions aren't conspiracy theories. They're legitimate gaps in the official story, and those gaps need to be addressed. And to the extent there's more to the story than a protest that got a little out of hand, there needs to be accountability. Let's dive into some of the biggest questions that remain. The biggest question in my mind is, why wasn't the Capitol building secure? Security failures of the Capitol are a massive, glaring hole in this story. In fact, sufficient security measures in place on January 6th might have been able to avoid any issues whatsoever at the Capitol building. So why was the building so lightly guarded, despite warnings of massive, large crowds expected that day? President Trump offered 10,000 National Guard troops before January 6th. Nancy Pelosi and the D.C. mayor turned it down. Why? What did they know that made them want to turn down the offer for thousands of armed security personnel that day? Even after the protests started getting out of hand, additional armed security services were rejected. Why was the National Guard deployment delayed for hours, despite requests from Capitol Police Chief Stephen Sund, who specifically denied or slowed the approval process? During the attack, multiple congressmen reported the panic buttons in their offices had been disabled or removed. Who removed or disabled the panic buttons in congressional offices prior to the riot? And was this intentional? Was it intentional sabotage, or are these types of routine Capitol security measures often neglected? There's also a massive hole when it comes to how many undercover officers or other confidential law enforcement assets, whether employees or cooperators, were there that day. In December of 2024, just a month or so before Donald Trump would be sworn in for a second term, the Inspector General for the Department of Justice released a report concluding there was no evidence to suggest there were undercover FBI agents who participated in the events on January 6th. The report went on to say there were 26 confidential FBI informants there that day. 23 of them were there on their own accord. 3, however, were tasked by the FBI with reporting on specific individuals who were present. Of those 3, 1 entered the Capitol building and the other 2 entered the restricted perimeter outside the Capitol building. In September of this year, the Blaze reported there were 274 plainclothed agents present on January 6th, an obvious and massive discrepancy with the Inspector General's report just over a year ago. It turns out the Blaze report about the 274 agents was based on the FBI's own 50-page after-action report from January 6th. In it, the FBI states plainly, on page 46, if you want to double-check me, that it deployed 274 agents to the scene, but to respond to events that day. All of this reporting, of course, is about the FBI. We know there are dozens of law enforcement agencies in the area, not to mention military units and intelligence agencies who all could, in theory, have deployed assets to the protests to blend in with the crowd. So did the FBI, the military, the CIA, or any other federal or local agency stoke the situation? We don't know. That's another unanswered question. Why haven't the claims of government interference on that day been confirmed or debunked? Why the piecemeal responses to specific questions that don't provide full and complete answers? Speaking of security, did Capitol Police appear to open doors or allow entry to the building in some instances? If so, was this part of a coordinated plan? That question remains unanswered. News broke last month that there had been an arrest in the mysterious case of the pipe bomber. Wolves in Finance did a really good job of breaking down the case against the alleged pipe bomber and why it seems really likely they may have arrested a patsy. So the question is, why did it take nearly 5 years to identify and arrest the pipe bomber despite extensive FBI resources and surveillance footage? Who built the pipe bombs? Was the bomber acting alone? Was he part of a larger plot? Why was former FBI Director Stephen D'Antuono, I don't know how to pronounce that. Why has he been accused of misleading Congress about cell phone data related to the pipe bomb investigation? In June 2023, he stated the FBI conducted a complete geofence of the areas around the pipe bombs, and he claimed the FBI received data from one of the providers that was not complete, and that some of the data was corrupted. It was an unusual circumstance. And he suggested it might have contained the suspect's identity. The subcommittee on investigations researching it sent letters to the major cell carriers. The carriers responded and said, we did not provide corrupted data to the FBI, nor had the FBI ever notified them of receipt of corrupted data. And this led Republican lawmakers to accuse him of providing inaccurate information and to question the FBI's handling of the investigation. The discrepancy raised concerns about the thoroughness of the FBI's probe and whether key information was mishandled or if the investigation was prematurely curtailed. None of those questions were answered. Instead, they arrested an autistic black man because years before the event and months after the event, he bought some items from Home Depot that maybe kind of, sort of, could have been used as parts of a bomb. There was no explanation why this autistic black man, who everyone around him agrees didn't communicate with people much at all, including people he sees daily or regularly. Supposedly, this autistic black man is seen on camera the night the bombs were planted, waving at cops, almost like whoever the bomber really was instinctively waved at cops. There's no explanation. And there's just a number of unanswered questions about these pipe bombs. The woman who discovered one of them didn't appear to me to be random. The vice president-elect at the time, Kamala Harris, was near the pipe bombs, as were pedestrians, cops, Secret Service agents, and allegedly bomb dogs, yet the bomb sat there in broad daylight until it was convenient to discover it. Speaking of Kamala Harris, why did she leave the Capitol on January 6th and go to the DNC headquarters right next to the conveniently placed bomb? And why she never publicly discussed the pipe bomb threat that endangered her safety? All of this was investigated, of course, but not in the way that might answer any questions. Rather, a small partisan House committee investigated it. They collected evidence from hundreds of people without warrants, but with the threat of incarceration if you failed to comply. It's a weird legal quirk that exists with Congress. And all they produced was a breathless Hollywood-produced video released just in time for the 2024 election. All of this evidence was collected as part of a legitimate investigation. Well, if it was legitimate, why did the select committee destroy or withhold evidence, including over 1,000 hours of tape and interview footage? Where did it go and why? There were missing texts from Secret Service agents on July 5th and 6th. Big media and big tech were censoring people who were saying things that didn't support the preferred narrative. I raise all of this because it feels like the last almost 4 months of the Charlie Kirk investigation has felt very similar to what happened after January 6th. The federal government, including the FBI, has gone into overdrive. And it feels just the same to me. The FBI is serving up Fed slop again. They're giving us an impossible story that doesn't make sense, and they're telling us with straight faces they're looking into other options, but they're confident there are no other options. Okay. The political ops have all been activated. Again, just like the uniparty political ops all were activated after January 6th, and they acted in unison to trash anyone who didn't immediately denounce Trump and immediately denounce everyone who was there on January 6th. This exact same plan is playing out once again. This is, in my opinion, the single most telling way we can tell when the feds are lying. When the feds and all the uniparty ops are going absolutely insane in unison and losing their mind, trashing anyone who disagrees, you know they're lying to you. They know the truth isn't supportable, and they know the truth will collapse in the face of questioning. So the only option is to try to force you into silence, try to bully you into silence. And it's happening again. It happened with COVID. It happened with January 6th. It's happening with Charlie Kirk. They were lying then, and they're lying now. And the lies are getting louder, more aggressive. The lies are getting more personal. If you listen to Candace Owens tonight, you heard her confirm what I've been telling this audience, I believe, for weeks now. If what she said tonight is true, that means Andrew Kolvet is a liar, a proven liar. And that means the top people he's working with at TPUSA probably know he's a liar. And the key fact here is they don't care. But that also means everyone Andrew Kolvet is dealing with now outside of TPUSA also is on notice that he cannot be trusted with respect to the Charlie Kirk story. Again, all of this depends on whether you believe Candace Owens or not. I do. This includes people like Blinking Gary and everyone else Andrew Kolvet is texting under the table, directing the TPU response in the shadows. And isn't that weird to begin with? Shouldn't those content creators Andrew Kolvet is texting under the cover of darkness wonder why he is texting them instead of just answering questions publicly? Shouldn't that be their first clue that all is not right with the Andrew Kolvet story? And if all's not right with the Andrew Kolvet story, what does that tell us about the entire Charlie Kirk narrative to begin with? And here's the money question. It's the money question. It was the money question in COVID. It was the money question in January 6th. And it remains the money question with Charlie Kirk. If you're lying, why are you lying if you're not guilty? Why? If you truly just want to find out the truth about what happened to Charlie Kirk, why are you lying at all? Why are you sneaking around? Why are you texting people under the table? Why are you trying to hide what you're doing? It's not what people do who are telling the truth. I want to take a look at two specific instances Candace raised tonight with respect to Andrew Kolvet and whether he's being honest. I can't possibly peel open Andrew's skull and look deep inside and determine whether or not he's telling the truth. I can't determine who among this anyone involved in this story is telling the truth. All I can do is take a look at these issues and give you what may end up being, my bad cop take on it. You see what happens to me when I try to go bad cop? Frogs jump in my throat. I also want to revisit a story. I wanted to cover this story last night, but I had to boot to tonight because we ran really long last night. It's about domestic terror organizations and when and under what conditions your federal government might turn the military against you on American soil. And finally, we got a few cleanup stories related to Charlie Kirk investigation that's probably been hanging out, looking for a time when I can drop them in. Tonight is that night. It'll probably be new information to many, so stand by for that. But I first want to get to the lies and a gentle reminder that tomorrow's show is going to be an absolute banger. An absolute banger coming up tomorrow. All right. I have promised myself I'm not going to lose my mind tonight. I've promised myself I will remain calm. I can bad cop and not be ugly. I promised myself that. But the more I watched this clip, it's only a couple of minutes, but the more I watched this couple of minute clip where Candace kind of outlines the couple of issues that have been weighing on my mind relative to Andrew Kolvet, I don't take these issues lightly. This is why I've stared in the camera a couple of times and said, Andrew, you've really got to figure this out. You've really got to figure your life out. Because if this is the path you're going down, it might result in riches in this life. It might make you very wealthy. It might give you power and influence. But what does it profit a man to gain the whole world and lose his soul? And if what she's saying is true, Andrew, you're at risk of losing your soul. And I don't know why I feel so, maybe because I've prayed for him so many times. You get this sort of kinship when you pray for someone a bunch. Someone on Grumble put Rumble put Grumble's a good name over there. Someone on Rumble put red hoodie, red comment. Nice for them. It may be. Thank you for that, by the way. It may be that I have some kind of kinship with Andrew, and I don't know what it is. But I feel like he's going to repent. I feel like he's going to repent. I feel like if we pray for him as a group, I feel like he is the guy at TPUSA who could blow this whole thing open. But I want to play a couple of clips here because what Candace drops, again, we have to take her at her word. If she's telling the truth, Andrew obviously has an opportunity, should he want it, to I would always give him an opportunity to come on here and explain himself. He can call me and explain it. You can you can get my number, Andrew. You know people who know me. Or you can send me an email, realbaronpodcast@gmail.com. But these two issues have been weighing on my heart a lot. I've told you guys I didn't think the doctor was lying. I've told you that over and over. Initially, I thought the doctor was lying, and the more I thought about it, I thought, no, he's not lying. And I'll explain what I mean by that in a minute. So let's start with let's start with that one. I don't want to tee up the second one until we get there. So let me run through this. If you guys can't hear it, let me know. Someone complained last time the volume was a little too low on these clips, so I'm going to turn it up a little bit. I just don't like to blow you guys out. It's so loud in my ears that I sometimes take the left one out because that's my sensitive ear. But let me get to this.
Also, he was rogue, apparently, on the Superman text as well. Like, he was the one who issued that tweet and quoted the surgeon. I then told you that the surgeon never said that. That was not a quote from the surgeon. What I didn't tell you was that according to my source, which I trust very much, the person that was on that phone that said that quote was actually Erika. It was a three-way phone call. After my episode, I am told, again, these are two disputed narratives. Erika claims Andrew went rogue and also the surgeon went rogue and violated HIPAA. My source says that no, the surgeon did not violate HIPAA and he never said that, but he answered Andrew Kolvet's questions because Erika was on the phone.
All right, I've got to stop it here because this confirms what I have been telling you people as an audience. This is what I call street cred. I've got it. No, listen. You remember when the Superman quote initially came out? It kicked off a firestorm. It actually created probably a 6-week lag in the investigation. And maybe it was done by design. I'm doing my best to stay calm because I'm wanting to lose my mind right now. And I'm going to try to stay calm, but I might play a little calm bad cop. But when that quote was released by Andrew on Twitter, you remember I'm not going to pull it up. He put out a quote. He said, I talked to the doctor. Here's what the doctor said. The doctor said the bullet came in. It damaged these C2 all the way down to C6. It took a hard left turn. It went down and the bullet was found just beneath the skin. Normally, it would have blown out the back of any normal human being's neck, but not Charlie Kirk. No. Charlie Kirk was strong. Charlie Kirk had a neck of steel. He was like Superman. It was a miracle from God himself. And we heard that and we thought, okay, is this the story they're going with? And instantly everybody was like, all right, well, if the surgeon said that he found the bullet just beneath the skin, and if the surgeon said it broke all these bones, if the there are very few professions in America today. Well, I'd say this pre-COVID. Doctors practicing after COVID apologize for what I'm about to say. But pre-COVID, there were very few professions in America where you could walk into just about any room, and if you introduced yourself as a doctor, it didn't matter if you finished last in your medical school class, you worked in the crappiest hospital in America, you were the worst doctor and killed all your patients. It didn't matter. You told people you were a doctor, they were like, oh, doctor, huh? Have you met my daughter? I mean, it's just... And so when the instinct is still there, even though we know post-COVID, the source, the trust in the medical profession has, let's be honest, it's collapsed. But there's still this instinct in the American psyche that when someone says the doctor said, you're like, well, the doctor must have meant it. The doctor might not be wrong, but he must have meant it. He must have thought he was right, because the doctor is surely not just going to lie. And remember, we analyzed on this program whether the doctor even could have talked to Andrew Kolvet. Do the HIPAA rules survive death, for example? And then we learned, it took a few weeks, and we had people out there shooting 30-06s into pork roast, shooting 30-06s into backstraps, shooting 30-06 into rump roast, shooting 30-06 into ribs, into femurs, cow femurs. They were shooting them into steel plates and concrete blocks and everything else. Everybody just boom, 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 boom. I mean, there must have, whoever creates 30-06 ammo, it's kind of a ancient round. It's not really, I mean, the round was sort of made mainstream in 1906. That's why it's a 30-06. It's a 30 caliber round approved by the military in 1906, 30-06. Little history lesson if you didn't know where the round title came from. It's an old round. It's like shooting a cannon. It's a big, big gun. It's not like an AR-15 where you could basically put it up against your crotch and fire the fire around and wouldn't feel it. It's got the big spring in there and everything. It's not like that. It's designed to go through not one but two elk, not one but two moose. And so everybody's firing these rounds out there, and we're losing time in the investigation because instead of looking for things that might have actually killed Charlie Kirk, we're out there trying to figure out how is this honest doctor who's out there just trying to be a good doctor, how is his explanation viable? Can we get the bullet to kind of stay in the neck meat? We lose all this time. And then it comes out where they say, no. This was a few weeks ago, maybe a month ago. They say, no, the doctor didn't tell that to Andrew Kolvet at all. In fact, Andrew Kolvet just made that stuff up out of whole cloth. Yes, it was in quotes. Yes, he attributed it to the doctor, but he was lying. Andrew Kolvet, after all, is a known liar. Those aren't my words. That's TPUSA's words. That's their words based on their actions. Because you can't say that there's any innocent explanation for why he put quote marks around a quote from a doctor attributing a solid 30-06 round, doing all that damage, taking turns, magic bulleting, up, down, left, right. You can't attribute an innocent motive to that. If you are TPUSA or Erika Kirk or anyone else, and you come out and you say, no, the doctor never said that, then what you are saying is Andrew Kolvet cannot be trusted. He'll lie to you about that. He'll lie to you about anything. There's no innocent way that you could conclude Andrew Kolvet was somehow telling you the truth and getting a quote that wrong. And so we established, not by our narrative, not by us looking in, that we established by TPUSA's words and actions that Andrew Kolvet was a completely dishonest person, that he was a liar. And so I looked into the camera and I said, Andrew, you don't have to live life this way. You can come back home. You can swim back across the Tiber. You're a good Catholic boy. You grew up in a good family, I'm sure. All you have to do is go to confession. Come home. You don't have to be around these people if they're forcing you to lie like this. If your job forces you to lie to the public, they're putting your soul in jeopardy. It's not worth the paycheck. It's not worth the paycheck. It's just not. And so it was at that point that I looked and I said, I don't think the doctor was lying. I don't think the doctor was lying. I don't think the doctor, for 1 second, told anyone about a magic neck, about a Superman neck, about titanium bones, about heavenly miracles. I just don't believe it. I think Andrew made it up. Well, tonight, Candace Owens not only confirms he just made it up, she confirms I say confirms, she gives us a different version of events that, if true, are so shocking. Erika Kirk should be run out of town. She should never be trusted again. She should never end up with Barry Weiss over on CBS News again. She should never be welcomed in the Fox News studios again. She should never be politely welcomed by Megyn Kelly. She should never be politely welcomed by anyone in polite society again. If what Candace Owens is saying is true tonight, I don't think you guys understood the gravity of what I just played. It was so controversial. It broke my heart to hear her say that tonight. It broke my heart. Because if Andrew and Erika were on three-way on that call with the doctor, you know what that means, right? If what she's saying is true, and she's saying she trusts her source, and the look on her face tells me she trusts her source. But if what Candace Owens said tonight is true, neither Andrew Kolvet nor Erika Kirk should ever be welcomed in polite society again. I'll be the bad cop and say that. She's not saying that. I don't know why she's not saying that. Because she's the good cop. This is our shtick. She doesn't even know we have this shtick. This shtick has been going on for months, Candace. You don't even know it. You're not even aware we have the shtick, but you're the good cop. You come on at 4 o'clock or 5 o'clock. You speak politely. You lay out the facts, and you're very well made up, and your nice clothes. I come in a hoodie with my face turning red and purple and scream at the microphone. You see the difference? I don't know how she does it. I don't know how she does it. But she came in and she good copped and she said, well, Erika was on the three-way. Erika was on three-way with the doctor, and Erika was on three-way with Andrew Kolvet. And you know what that means, ladies and gentlemen? While we were all shooting 30-06 rounds through pork roasts, while people like Gary and I don't even know who all these other people are. All these people out there say, oh, yeah, 30-06 rounds, they can do crazy things in the neck. You should, you haven't killed as many people as we have. Well, thankfully. Lord willing, that remains true. But everybody's out there. They send all the TPUSA lackeys out there after the doctor quote to explain how, of course, a 30-06 round can hit this little 2-inch piece of flesh right here. And of course, oh yeah, it'll stop if you eat enough healthy food, like if you eat a high protein diet and exercise well. I don't know. I mean, I don't know why we're even questioning it. Of course it can happen. The doctor said it could happen. The doctor told Andrew that quote. And everybody runs with the story. And Erika sat back and let him. And if it's true, if her story is true, and I have good reason to believe it's true, ladies and gentlemen, I have very good reason to believe it's true. If her story is true, Erika's a monster. Erika's not a grieving widow at this. She's a monster. Because let me tell you what it means. It means that the doctor was saying, you're saying he was shot with 30-06? No, not possible. It would have blown out his neck. That's how you reinterpret Andrew's statement. That's how you reinterpret Andrew's statement. That they're on the three-way call, and she says, Doc, they found the weapon. It's a 30-06. And the doctor goes, impossible. It would have blown right out of his neck. It would have taken a miracle from heaven to stop a 30-06 neck. It would have killed the people standing behind him. I'm a hunter. I know exactly what a 30-06 would do. And she heard the doctor say this, and she lets Andrew go out there and say, oh, it was a miracle. No, that's not what the doctor was saying. That's not at all what the doctor was saying. That's what this means. It means, if she's right, it means Erika is a monster. Not mistaken, not misunderstood, monster. Monster. That's what it means. There's no other innocent explanation. The only way Erika isn't a monster is if Candace is lying or is wrong or is misunderstanding whoever told her. And I don't believe that. I don't believe that for a second. I believe in this story as many times as TPUSA's stories, and I do say stories, not facts, as many times as what they're saying breaks down and is proven to be not true. I don't believe them. I don't give them the benefit of the doubt. I don't give them the benefit of the doubt at all. That's, to me, how you read that. You see how calm I played bad cop there? Do you see how calm I played bad cop? That was a calm version of what I felt inside of my body. I wore the red hoodie because I was feeling a sense of rage. I intended to wear I was going to wear the light green hoodie tonight. I was going to save the red hoodie for later in the week, closer to the Indiana game. But no. Not after I saw this and boiling rage welled up inside my soul. Now let's continue with the rest of what she has to say about the Superman neck here.
That the Superman quotation came from her, and they thought it was sweet because she was trying to grapple with things. And that's why I just abstained from telling the public that, because I thought maybe she needed to believe that because he died. And I was trying to be gracious. I don't know what to believe. What I see now is that I'm getting played because now I see that she's giving an alibi to Andrew. And Andrew's not going rogue, okay? Andrew is being told to do these things. Andrew is being told to attack me and to attack my narrative. Andrew is being told to lie on my name. Andrew is allowing these attacks to happen, sitting there across from Alex Clark, like, Catholic, no, he just liked the architecture. And I no longer accept that he is just going rogue, okay? That, to me, shows coordination. There's no other way to read it. So we have to sentence Andrew Kolvet to more truth. That's going to be the new vibe. You lie, I tell the truth. So let's revisit Hamptons.
All right, we'll get to the Hamptons in a second, because this is, again, another example of where I think Erika looks horrific. So that was number one, Superman neck. And I wanted to play the rest of that because she goes on to explain, I might have spoiled it a little bit. She went on to explain that Erika's the one that planted those words in the surgeon's mouth. Now, Candace seems to be giving her the benefit of the doubt. Maybe good copping a little bit. Because maybe she's saying, well, she was grieving. It was her husband died. Could it have been a magic bullet? Could he just had a really strong neck? And it's almost like the doctor was like, yeah, I guess anything could happen. Miracles can happen. No. I don't think that's it at all. I think that's a very good cop way to look at this, Candace. I think what happened was they realized they had a real problem on their hand in the first couple of days after Charlie Kirk passed away. Because almost immediately, when their patsy showed up to the scene with the 30-06, they should have called the whole operation off. No. Call it off. Stop the microphones. Stop the road mic. Butch Hibbs, go back to Heber City. Guy standing next to Butch Hibbs. We're going to talk about him tonight. Guy standing next to Butch Hibbs with a backpack on, looking like a G-man. Go back to wherever you came from. Planes fly back to Egypt. I mean, get out of here. Everybody leave. The patsy showed up with a 30-06. We can't continue the operation. They should have just canceled it. If you can't show up with a believable weapon, we'll try again at Utah State in a few weeks. This was a nice run through. But they realized immediately they were in trouble. Within days, every single person who covered this was like, no, that a 30-06 does not stop in a human neck. We're sorry. Oh, but Martin Luther King once got shot with he got shot like through 19 bones, and it barely stopped inside his body. And if you look at the autopsy drawings, his neck is missing. This is not a little hole here, and the bullet just goes. They realized they had a problem. I think, now she was good copping tonight. She was good copping. She was benefit of the doubting and all that. And granted, she was still saying she thinks Erika's directing Andrew Kirk to lie. So it's about as good cop as you can play under the circumstances. But I think it was worse than that. I see a demon in crystal blue eyes picking up the phone and saying, the bullet stopped in his neck, didn't it? Oh, yeah, bullet stopped in his neck. Oh, yeah. It stopped in his neck. That's how I picture Erika talking when she's not on camera. Like I picture her little like spade tail flapping in the background. Like the reason she has so much hair is covering the horn buds. Trimming them down every night. Come on, get out of here. I got to be on Fox News tomorrow. That's what I think happened. I think she got into the demon mode and told the doctor, hey, buddy, it had to be a 30-06 and it had to stop in his neck. Tell me you found the bullet. I didn't find the bullet. Tell me you found the bullet. I don't know. Well, we're going forward with a statement that said he had a magic neck. Oh, okay, yeah. I mean, the doctor's in a very unenviable position, by the way. Anyone remotely familiar with HIPAA laws understands the doctor can't come out and dispute her. He's in kind of a bind. If you go forward and say, yeah, the doctor said it was a magic neck, the doctor's like, kind of stuck with that story. I mean, what's the doctor going to do? Hold a press conference and say, no, the grieving widow's a liar. She started growling, so I went along with it. I was trying to explain to her that it wasn't this way. And then she, and I was like, okay, fine. Magic bullet, magic neck. That's the way I saw it go down. That's the way that's the way I saw it. The room smelled like sulfur all of a sudden, went ice cold. All right. I want to continue this here because she goes on to explain a second lie that she has now caught Erika in. I think this one might actually be worse because this was a twofer. The first lie was more of a Erika lied. We don't know that Erika told Andrew Kolvet to go on and make up the quote from the doctor, or if Andrew sort of took it upon himself because that's a low T move if he took it by himself to protect her. But whatever, dude. Whatever. Man, that's like Simp City. If he made it up on his own, that's like, But anyway. But this next one's pretty bad all the way around. To set this up, for those that don't remember, in August 13, 14, 15, somewhere around there. That's right. Yeah, 13, 14, 15. Charlie Kirk flies out to the Hamptons. That's where they have the famous meeting where Benjamin Netanyahu calls in and all his buddies are there. And they're like, hey, what's going on? What's going on? Are you with us? Or are you against us? This is the meeting where they asked that really creepy question to Erika Kirk. Do you remember this? They asked her, or they asked Charlie, hey, Charlie, this is like right in opening the meeting. I played this a couple, 3-4 episodes ago. They said, oh, yeah, hey, I know you're 31. You're pretty healthy, tall guy, tall, lean, handsome fella. What if you die next week, or say September 10th or so? What if you die pretty soon? Who's going to run TPUSA? What do you think, big boy? I mean, at that point, he should have gotten up and said, I think I'll drive home. Can I get a rental car and a gun? I don't know what you guys have planned, but I don't want to be around for it. Same meeting. What kind of meeting is this? If you show up to a meeting and the first question they ask you is, what happens if you die? And you're only 31, keep in mind. Like, I'm 46. I'm kind of the age where I have friends starting to have health problems, drop dead, whatever. But if you're 31, you shouldn't know anyone dying. And so if you're 31 and you show up to a meeting full of billionaires and they're like, what happens if you die? You thought of that? That's a really good sign. You need to get out of the meeting, like put everything you had on. And then let's say you fight your good instincts and you stay in the meeting. If you're in a meeting where they ask you what happens if you will die, and then Benjamin Netanyahu calls, guys, you got to go somewhere else. Like, get out of the job. McDonald's may take your order. Like, go get another career. Go somewhere else, Charlie. I understand you're used to making $1 million a year. It's not worth it. It's not worth it. You need to go make $7.35 an hour at the McDonald's, passing out French fries through the little foldy windows. Would you like fries with that? Yeah, dude, just get out of the game because you're not going to survive. That is a sure enough sign that you're not going to make it much longer. So she's talking about the Hamptons meeting, the same meeting where they asked a 31-year-old, what happens if you die? Again. So listen to how she describes the meeting.
Hamptons. Okay, remember that whole debacle? Another thing that I said to the public was that Seth Dillon was pressing Charlie. I said there was a smaller meeting that took place. I said Bibi Netanyahu called and he offered to take Turning Point to the next level. And everybody had a lot to say and things were crazy. And, oh, Candace is crazy. Max Blumenthal's crazy. He also reported this. Everyone's lying. That's not true. Everything was amazing. Well, the Hamptons debacle came up when I sat down with Erika. And she conceded that, yeah, she was there. I had no idea, by the way, that Erika was there. The first time I found out Erika was there was when I was sitting across from Erika.
Yeah, that's the first I've heard that Erika was there. Now, I want to tell you something interesting about this. I don't think they came on the same plane. I think they came on different flights. And we could go back to the flight radar and all this. And maybe I'll talk to Ian about this tomorrow because I think this is an important part of the thing. And Ian is the flight guru. Ian knows everything there is about flights. I know how to turn on flight radar and like look at airports. Ian knows how to. It's incredible. You talk to him about flights, you feel like you're 2 years old. You're like, I know, wing, and he's like, well, you get the FBO and they go. So maybe we'll bring this up tomorrow when we got higher IQ outfit when it comes to planes. But I noticed that there were actually two private planes from Scottsdale who flew into the Hamptons meeting. But they flew in a day or two apart. I don't remember if it was like Sunday and Tuesday or Monday and Tuesday. I can't remember what days they flew in. I think one of them flew in Sunday night and one of them came in Tuesday. I would be very interested to see who was there first. In fact, I don't know if anybody knows Charlie's public schedule. There's some of you people that are so creepy the way you can research stuff. You freak me out, frankly. But the August 13, 14, 15, if somebody could find out whether Erika or Charlie was seen publicly, not in the Hamptons, on August 13, 14, or 15. Because if Erika was there first and Charlie showed up a day or two later, that's pretty telling. I don't know that, but it does not look to me like they came in on the same flight. The other option is that they did come in on the same flight, and maybe someone else from the Scottsdale area came in. But these are airplanes they typically use. So I thought that was a strange fact. It had been lodged in the back of my head, but I didn't know Erika was there. And I thought, who else from Scottsdale would have showed up at this meeting? I mean, it seems like a kind of a heavy meeting, but it makes sense in light of the first question Charlie was asked: what happens if you die? What say you, Chuck? Hey, Charlie, I know you're only 31, but let's say someone whacks you. Who's going to take over TPUSA? Who you got? Who you got? Like, I don't pressure me that way, guys. I'm 31. I remember being 31. It didn't hurt to sleep. You could drink for like 2 weeks and you'd be fine every day. You're great. Your knees didn't hurt. Your hip didn't hurt. Your back never hurt. You never had a bad shoulder. 31 was amazing. You know the last thing I was thinking about at 31? Dying. That doesn't cross my mind. It's something I never considered. 46, I think about it. I might carry emergency aspirin in my pocket. No, I'm just kidding. Just in case the big one sets in. So yeah, that's interesting to me that the meeting where they're asking him if he's going to die, we now learn his successor was at the meeting. Oops, sorry. Guys, I'm getting better. Do I still play clips sometimes when the screen is not shared? Sure. But I catch it faster. You see the improvement? You see the quality improvement this show is experiencing day in and day out? I don't just play it for like 4 minutes at a time anymore and stare awkwardly off to the side while you guys are yelling at me in the comments. No. I catch it within seconds. All right, here we go.
By the way, that Erika was there. First time I found out Erika was there was when I was sitting across from Erika. I don't know actually why I wasn't told that earlier. Anyways, the point being is that she was there and she conceded that yes, the Israel thing came up, and just as the people told me that his perspectives on Israel were being challenged. And then she said, yeah, I was there when Bibi Netanyahu called. Okay. How come no one has confirmed that? There's a piece of me that is angry about the fact that I have been telling the truth. And I feel like I have been being gaslit about that. And no one has tossed me a little bit of rope, right? Hey, Candace, you're out there. She's telling the truth. Bibi Netanyahu called. Erika says that Erika told me that, but she said, but he did not offer to take Turning Point to the next level.
That's key. We're going to come back to that. I do not want people blowing by that. The story Candace received was that Benjamin Netanyahu calls into the meeting and says, I'm going to take Turning Point to the next level. Erika Kirk says, no. That never happened. That absolutely never happened. But wait, there's more. I didn't want that to go by. I'm not insulting you. I understand you guys can listen, but I did not want that to get by you. It's very, very important to me doing my best to play bad cop without losing my mind here in just a moment.
And I said, really? She said, yeah, I don't know who your source is on that, but that part's not true. He did call, but that part's not true. So what I told her, what I think shocked her, was that my source on that, which I had never previously revealed to the public, was Andrew Kolvet. It was Andrew Kolvet who told me that Bibi Netanyahu offered to take Turning Point to the next level and that Charlie Kirk said no.
I wanted that silence to linger there for a second. What is Erika's belief? What was her story? Why would she suggest that Benjamin Netanyahu called into the meeting if not to offer something? He's just calling to be a boy, to be a buddy, to be a guy. I mean, he's not a cool guy. He's not a guy you want to just talk to, right? When Benjamin Netanyahu calls, like 60,000 people die. He's like the Ark of the Covenant. You know, like they used to run the Ark out and then somebody would accidentally trip and like 30,000 people would die. That's like Benjamin Netanyahu. He spills his coffee and like whole villages perish. It's terrifying. Not a guy you want just calling in. And so if he's not calling to give you something, he's not calling to offer you something, why is he calling at all? And the fact that she's going to sit there and say, no, he never said that. You only lie about things that are devastating. If the truth were known, they would be devastating to your position. Those are the only things you lie about. And who could be more devastating to the story of what happened to Charlie Kirk than Benjamin Netanyahu? That's like as devastating as it gets. And the fact that they were quick to try to, no, he didn't offer us anything. At the meeting where they were asking what would happen if Charlie died, he didn't have to offer us anything. But then she says, oh, no, Andrew Kolvet told me that. And he was there. I think he was there. I think I heard he was there. How much longer do I have on that clip? Ah, yeah, I know what's coming. It takes a special woman. And I don't mean this to knock women. I'm not at all knocking women. But, you know, in the way men and women operate, it takes a very special woman to say, I'm with you in making way less money. Like, I understand you have this opportunity to make $5 million a year, but I'm okay if you only want to make $100,000. And I have had friends over the years who have taken new jobs with significant pay cuts or taken pay cuts at their current jobs because they didn't like their standard of living or decided they were going to work less or decided they were going to do some change of career or whatever. And it's a very special, supportive wife who puts up with it. And puts up with it, but is like, yes, please. For your health, for your sake, for your mental capacity, for your whatever, we're going to do it. It's a very special woman. I'm married to one. I've made that decision before. I don't feel like Erika Kirk is one of those. She doesn't strike me as one of those. Her like 19 diamond rings she wears out don't strike me that way. The gold glittering outfit coming out to like Super Bowl fireworks, that doesn't strike me as someone who's like, yeah, you should turn down Benjamin Netanyahu and his offer to take us to the next level. You should turn that down. Now, she's about to say something. I'm about to play the last little clip I'm going to play of her tonight here. She's about to say something that caused me to absolutely boil with rage inside my body. It made me so angry that I might have thought about saying choice things out loud. I did not. I resisted the temptation. But I want you to hear, it almost got past me. And I went back and listened to it a second time, and I thought, I want you to listen to what she's about to say here.
Did he go rogue again? I don't know. I said, I find it very weird that Andrew would make that up. And then I was sort of told, like, well, maybe it happened a different time or whatever. Maybe when she wasn't there. It was pretty specific that it happened. And then I said, and I confirmed that with two other people. One person who I'm not going to give the clue about on the show because it would reveal a source that was not related to Andrew Kolvet, who confirmed that very same thing. And there's no way Andrew would have known anything about that source. He was not communicating. He was not that source's source. Somebody else at that dinner was. And then I confirmed it for a third time with somebody that is very close to Andrew Kolvet, that he said that he lost a lot of money when Charlie said no to Bibi Netanyahu.
I heard that line that she confirmed it with someone very close to Andrew Kolvet who said Andrew Kolvet lost a lot of money when Charlie Kirk said no to Benjamin Netanyahu. Why? I mean, this is a nonprofit. I think we lose sight of this sometimes. We talk about Charlie's company. Charlie built up his company. Of course, he was going to leave it to his wife. We lose sight of the fact that this is a nonprofit. They don't pay taxes. The deal we have as a society with nonprofits is, hey, there are things we as a society would benefit from. Providing an education, for example. So if you want to educate some teenage kids or some elementary school kids, we'll subsidize you. Because we as a society will get a benefit from that. And so we will not force you to pay taxes on that money. We want you to reinvest the money you otherwise would have paid in taxes. We want you to reinvest that money back into the community. And they go, yeah, great. And so if you're at a private high school, for example, and they get in a $10 million donation or a $50 million donation, they might build some athletic facilities. They might build a band room. They might add on to the gym. They might build out a new wing for the middle school. They might get some new books. Maybe they reduce tuition for a little while to take the pressure off of people during a tough economy, or maybe some lower class people might be able to attend this fine private institution. But it's a nonprofit. It's not supposed to result in people becoming millionaires. It's just not supposed to be that way. Not the CEO, not the PR guy, not the CEO's wife. This is not the way nonprofits are supposed to be run. It's not the way nonprofits are supposed to be handled. If Andrew Kolvet said that, shame on you. Shame on you. Shame on every one of you who became a millionaire at TPUSA. Shame on Tyler Boyer. Shame on Andrew Kolvet. Shame on all these people. Unless you made your money on the side. Now, if you made your money on the side, even if TPUSA gave you the invite, whatever, more power to you. You know, if you opened a podcast that had nothing to do with TPUSA and it wasn't on TPUSA time and you made, $500,000 on that over a couple of years, good for you. I'm proud of you. If you wrote a book and it wasn't on TPUSA time and TPUSA wasn't buying up all the books to boost your numbers, then you made $100,000 on that, good for you. But if Benjamin Netanyahu was going to take TPUSA to the next level, and that was going to result in you making millions of dollars, the hell's that? What is that all about? That should not be. No one should be making millions of dollars on the donations made to a nonprofit. That shouldn't happen. That shouldn't be a consideration. The nonprofit shouldn't be ingesting so much money through means that result in other people making more money. The PR guy should get what he gets. I don't know, give him $100,000, $150,000. What do you pay a PR guy these days? Let's call it 165. I don't know what the going rate is for a PR guy in Scottsdale, but let's call it 165, an experienced PR guy. Maybe you give him a bonus of $15,000 at the end of the year if he does a good job and he shows up for work and he doesn't cause trouble. So he's making 180. That sounds like a pretty damn good salary to me. It shouldn't matter if Benjamin Netanyahu takes the organization to the next level. The next year, he should make $165,000 with a $15,000 bonus. That's the point. It's a nonprofit. The moment employees start directly benefiting from the amount of money it makes, it's no longer a nonprofit. It's a profit by another name. That's the problem. The moment Erika Kirk jumps on a Gulfstream 5 to go from Scottsdale to Nashville to meet Candace Owens for a sit down, it's no longer a nonprofit. I mean, that's just the reality. If you're writing that stuff off as a business expense, it's no longer a nonprofit. Now, if you have book sales or you have, good real estate, you're got a keen eye for the markets and you know when a distressed area is going to skyrocket and you invest early and you make a bunch of side money, great for you. We need more people like that in society. But if you're making your money out of the nonprofit and you become a multi-millionaire out of the nonprofit, shame on you. The government should shut you down. The government should shut you down. Because it's no longer a nonprofit at that point. The employees are directly benefiting. My final point that I would add here is the name of the company is Turning Point USA. USA. You would think that the money should come from the USA. You would think that the organization should have the best interest of the USA. For those that are foreign, the United States of America. I know we're huge in the Balkans, get a lot of emails out of the Balkans. We're big in Australia for some reason. I have no idea why we have so many Australia. Maybe the time works or whatever. I go on late and you guys are up early. I don't know why, but Australia is like my number 3 market. But if your name of your organization is TPUSA and it's an American nonprofit, meaning American taxpayers are subsidizing it, then that should be where your money comes from, and it should be where your money is benefiting. And I have a feeling based on the contentious discussions that were taking place there in the Hamptons. I have a feeling that's not where the money was coming from. And I have a feeling that's not where the money was benefiting. And so I do want to spend some time running down that and exploring that in the future. All right. I did that with a mostly not red face. I know you guys are proud of me. I did that with a mostly not red face. All right. I want to play two things here. Let me see if I can pull up the second one here real quick. Where did she put this? Here it is. Oh, it's already playing. All right. I'm going to play Charlie Kirk walking into TPUSA, and not into the TPUSA. This is from Allie Top Files. She stored this video. This was on some Grace Chapel church in Heber City's page, and they took it down. I noticed they took it down because I went looking for this particular video, and it doesn't have anything gruesome on it. There's nothing wrong with it. There's made no privacy. This is just a video. I want to know if anyone knows who this guy is right here. That guy in the blue shirt or black shirt, whatever this is. You see this guy right here? Short hair. This is an APB. I want to know who this guy is. I don't want anyone to publicly dox him. I'm not looking for you to post his address on Twitter or anything like that. But it has come to my attention that I need to know more about this guy. I will not show the video, but this is the guy who, at the moment of the Big Bang, he is standing next to Butch Hibbs. Butch Hibbs is here. Charlie's over here on this side. This guy's kind of here, and Butch is over here. Butch is like leaned into him. They were a little cozy. But he has got a backpack on. He's one of only two people I could see there with a backpack, Mikey McCoy being the other. But if anyone knows who this guy is, I'll zoom in a little bit, it would be helpful to me. I've had a specific question that we're trying to run down on this particular guy. So that's the cleanest image I have. If anybody knows who that guy is, let me know. I don't want to spend a ton of time on this, but that's now this is Blake neck speed right here. They looking svelte. You can understand when you see Blake in this condition why he was able to move so swiftly after the Big Bang. But that's him right there. That if that helps you to see this guy's walk, that's him over there. He's got a little bit of a bow-legged walk. Those really white shoes. I'm not sure those white shoes are working with those gray pants and blue shirt, but to each his own. But yeah, this guy right here. Anybody know who that is? Let me know. realbaronpodcast@gmail.com. realbaronpodcast@gmail.com. So that's the first thing I wanted to show you. Here's the second thing. This is again also from Allie. Allie's been doing great work on this stuff lately. This is also from Allie. This is 40 minutes or so before I had to turn the volume down because I wasn't sure if we'd get a copyright because she has some music running in the background. But I want you guys to watch Dan Flood. This is a long time before Charlie takes the stage. 40 minutes before Charlie arrives. Notice Dan Flood. I think that's Dan Flood. Back there messing with Charlie's. But don't worry about the trunk. I don't know what all this AI stuff is on there, but just what I'm focusing on is watch him messing with the chair. He steps back and he messes with the chair. No one's in the chair. Why is he messing with the chair? What's he looking at on that chair? I thought that was an interesting thing. Again, these are just things that have been popping up and I've had in my mind backed up here and wanted to get through at some point and figured tonight was as good a night as any. All right. I have to get to this because this is 2 nights in a row I wanted to get to this. It is important because I think this is the next move against America First, against conservatism, against Christians in America. I think this is the next move against us. They're running this TPUSA op, and if you don't buy it, they're throwing Allie Beth Stuckey and these people at you. And if you don't buy it, if you don't buy these people, I'm trying to think of some Rob McCoy. I'm trying to think of some of these other lukewarm kind of whatever Christians. I'm trying to think of some of them they've been throwing at us here lately. I see them all over Twitter. But I think this is the route they're about to go. And we played this video clip the other night, but I'm going to show you a document that a very astute viewer of this program shared with me afterwards. And it gives a lot of insight as to what he's talking about here. Notice what they're talking about here is domestic terror organizations. And we talked about the other night when I played this clip. I'm replaying it because it's important for what the document we're about to look at. But, and some of you may not have been on the other night when we played it, but they're talking about domestic terror organizations. He's asking a 4-star general, a guy named Gregory Guillotte. Hey, Gregory Guillotte, you're a 4-star general. You run major commands here in the United States. You're a massive bigwig in the military and in the government. Would you fire on Americans? Would you attack Americans who'd been labeled by the president as a domestic terror organization? What say you, sir? And here's his response.
If you were, if the president declared an organization a terrorist organization or DTO, which is on a secret list, and you were ordered to attack them on U.S. soil, would you carry out that order?
Senator Reed, as with any order I would assess the order, consult the legal authorities to ensure that it was a lawful order, and I would, if I had questions, I would elevate that to the chairman and the secretary, as they welcome at all times. And if I had no concerns and I was confident in the lawful order, I would definitely execute that order.
I would definitely execute that order. So the question to him was, if the president ordered you to attack Americans that he had declared were domestic terrorists, domestic terror organizations, would you attack them? And he said, yes, I would. As long as I determined it was legal, yes, I would. This is a 4-star general of the United States military, the most powerful military that ever lived. In the United States of America, this is not North Korea talking about the North Korean troops. I don't know if you noticed, but 4-star General Gregory Guillotte is an American citizen. And 4-star General Gregory Guillotte is in the United States Air Force of the United States. He's not North Korean. He's not Cuban. He's not Russian. He's not Chinese. Some of these countries where we think, yeah, maybe they would attack their own people. I mean, if you woke up tomorrow and you heard Putin launched an attack on his own people because he thought they were bad guys, would you be like, no, I can't believe it? No, I mean, or Raul Castro? Yeah, probably. I mean, they've done it. The president of China, I mean, don't they have like prison camps over there? North Korea? So I wanted to show you this because this is an idea of the type of people who are on these domestic terror organizations. This is an executive summary of the FBI's breach of religious freedom, the weaponization of law enforcement against Catholic Americans. It's in the United States House of Representatives, December 4th, 2023. The Committee on the Judiciary and the Select Subcommittee, on the weaponization of federal government have been investigating the FBI's categorization of certain Catholic Americans as potential domestic terrorists. That's an important word there because what the general was asked is, if the president labeled someone a domestic terrorist and ordered you to attack them, would you do it? And he said, well, if it was a lawful order, yes. You know what a lawful order is? It comes from a commander, like the chief executive of the United States of America. In other words, if the FBI, if the president added Catholic Americans, certain Catholic Americans, as potential domestic terrorists and ordered you to attack them, would you? He didn't say anything about if I agreed with it. He didn't say anything about if I thought they needed to be attacked. There was no executive level decision making apart from, and this is it in a little more plain English. This is the press release from the House Judiciary Committee that went along with it. New report details the extent of FBI's weaponization of law enforcement against traditional Catholics. Today, the House Judiciary Committee and its select subcommittee on the weaponization of the federal government released an interim staff report titled The FBI's Breach of Religious Freedom. That's what we just read. Under the guise of tackling the threat of domestic terrorism, the memorandum painted so-called certain radical traditional Catholics as violent extremists and proposed opportunities for the FBI to infiltrate Catholic churches as a form of threat mitigation. The FBI's Richmond memorandum is a startling reminder that American civil liberties and core constitutional rights must be vigorously guarded against federal government overreach, including in this case, from an overzealous federal law enforcement agency. Ladies and gentlemen, the question on the table to the good general was, if there was a group labeled domestic terrorist and the president ordered you to attack them, would you do so? Let me ask you a very simple question. This is a tough question. I want you guys all right here. Where's the, let me pull this out of the way, get everything moved. I just want to look at just you and me. Do you guys think when Charlie Kirk opposed what was happening in Gaza, what was happening in Iran, you think he might have been considered a domestic terrorist? I mean, what makes him different from radical traditional Catholics at that point? He is a radical traditional Christian who had been flirting, obviously, with the Catholic faith, going to Mass, talking to priests. I think they spent the last night with a priest. Wearing the St. Michael medal. Do you think Charlie Kirk could have been considered a domestic terrorist? And if so, might there have been an order? Because you have guys like General Giat who would execute on that order. I'm guessing there are guys under his command who would execute that order, or his or other generals' commands. I don't know. I mean, I'm not saying that they did, but I'm saying this Senate hearing took place. What was the date on this Senate hearing? This Senate hearing took place back on, I just happened to come across this, on December 11th. I'm the nerdy guy who, when I'm working, will pull up these committee hearings and just listen to them, particularly the Armed Services Committee hearings, just to get an idea what's going on around the world, going around the country. I could listen to Fox News, but they're not going to tell me this existed. No one told me. Do you remember when they asked Trump what his thoughts were about the death of Charlie Kirk that night? You remember that? Mr. President, what do you think of the death of Charlie Kirk? Have you seen the ballroom? It's beautiful. It's going to be a beautiful ballroom. We knocked down the east wing of the White House. It's going to be huge. Wood floors, some gold trim. Anybody else think that was a weird answer? I'm not suggesting Donald Trump killed Charlie Kirk. I'm just saying, I've got a 4-star general here who's like, yeah, I'd kill Americans in a heartbeat if they're domestic terrorists, as long as the order's lawful. All right, boss. Am I a domestic terrorist? Well, it's a secret list. I don't know. I'm not allowed to look at the secret list. You're not allowed to look at the secret list. I hear a story like that and I think, well, how do we know that's not what happened? How do we know? How do we know? Why are we in Venezuela? Why were we in Iran? Why were we in Syria? Why were we in a lot of these countries? Because some countries in the Middle East wanted us to pursue these things, wanted us to go into Venezuela, wanted us to go into Syria, wanted us to go into Libya, wanted us to go into Iran. And I want you to think about all of this that we've talked about tonight in the exact same context. The BS lies of January 6th, the BS and how they relate to the BS lies about Charlie Kirk coming from the feds and the Fed slot pushers in the mainstream media, and the frankly formerly conservative influencers that I've lost all faith in. But all that, kind of keep that bucket together. Now add to that bucket, I've got BB calling into a meeting in the Hamptons, added to the bucket. I've got Kolvet lying about the doctor, Erika Kirk potentially lying about the doctor, Erika Kirk potentially lying about the call from BB. I've got turning down millions of dollars for his friends and family. I've got Charlie's opposition to Gaza, Charlie's opposition to Iran. Charlie probably would have been opposed to Venezuela. And you look and you think, I got a 4-star general who said he'll execute as long as we label him a domestic terrorist. I don't know. I'm not saying this is what happened. I don't know that this is what happened. But I've always wondered why Mikey McCoy's, one of his very first calls was to the Vice President of the United States. This seemed a little high to me. I mean, if you were at that place, let's say they drafted you. You're there, you're kind of by the tent, and all hell breaks loose. You hear the big bang, and everybody runs every different direction, and you run off down the road, and you happen to be there with Breakneck Speed and the amazing Mikey McCoy. It's just the three of you. It's you. Let me just pull up someone random here. Here we go. It's Theo. I got Theo. It's you. It's Theo, and Mikey McCoy and Breakneck Speed. That's the only people there. The amazing Mikey McCoy, Breakneck Speed, and it's Theo 8. And they say, who should we call? Well, it's Theo. Who are you going to suggest? Well, we should call his wife. Okay, let's call his wife. Boop, 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 boop. Your husband's dead. Okay, who else should we call? Why don't we call Vice President Vance? What the hell? Theo, why would you recommend we call the vice president? That's weird. What a strange call. No, it turns out that's exactly was their instinct as well. It's exactly what they thought. Let's call the vice president. I don't know, man. I'm starting to get really cynical on this stuff. I'm starting to get really cynical on some of this stuff. Really starting to wonder where it is, where the truth really is on this stuff. All right. I appreciate you guys hanging with me. I know that was long and winding, and when I started out on January 6th, you guys had no idea where I was going to end up with buckets of 4-star generals saying they're going to kill Americans. But it's all related to me. That's one story. Tonight was one story. The lies on January 6th, the lies about Charlie Kirk, Erika Kirk, and Andrew Kolvet, and a 4-star general saying he's going to kill Americans. And I look at that and go, Charlie died. Sounds about like probably why. I don't know. We'll see. All right. Let's get through some of these super chats, ladies and gentlemen. We've been going almost 90 minutes here. Can you or your people start a fund specifically for the Bong Dog Funds? Well, that $50 is going to take our $380 up to $430. We're up to $430 for the dog bombs, the bomb dogs. If I get enough for a bomb dog, again, my last quote I got was like 14 grand. I think I could do better than that. But if I get enough for a bomb dog, yeah, we'll hire one. I don't know what's still going to be there by the time we get one. Maybe I'll fly out there and we'll meet up with a bomb dog if I can get a cheaper bomb dog. We'll fly out there and I'll video the whole thing, and I'll grab a couple of Rode Go Pro wireless 2s, but they won't explode. These are solid. These have been examined, I think. I'll borrow someone else's and we'll record the whole thing. This is for that fund. Not my first donation to a team of canines. God bless you, Baron, in your new journey. We're here for you in Jesus' name. Thank you, Cindy Lou. That's very kind. And we're up to 430. If you guys hold me accountable to that, I'm pretty sure I'm keeping a running tally in my head. Logic is the beginning, not the end of wisdom. Spock, are you talking about doctor? Spock or Spock from Star Trek. Either way, I'm going to have on this shelf right here a brand new. Someone said I was vain putting these books back here. Guys, this was a sound device. The sound from my voice was coming off this credenza and hitting that glass on the pictures, and it was coming back to me, and it took me forever to track it down, but I was doing a bunch of testing and I realized if I put something here, it would stop that, and it did. So that's how we ended up with books here. There's no vanity in the Odyssey, I promise. Nobody actually reads that book. No one's actually read the Odyssey. But there it is. If you ever want to read it, I have a copy. Come by and I'll give it to you. Actually, don't come by. But the logic book is going to be right here. So if we have any people in the future in dire need of good logic, it'll be there. But thank you, Notaborg, for that very kind donation. Very, very kind donation. I have the perfect merch idea for you. Caption reads, doing the Neff. And a picture of you underneath the caption, doing the hand motion. And if putting Neff is a problem, then put Ness, doing the Ness. No, I don't think it's a problem. We could say we're doing the Captain Neff from Fort Huachuca. Or I could just donate like $1 to the Neff Fund. I don't know that there is one, but if there is, there should be. If there isn't, there should be. Teach people how to turn quickly and not remember timelines very well. Never had a beard, but the Cabot Phillips grocery store pic seems like a lot of facial hair for having shaved 4 days before. Zoom in. Seems like a few weeks of growth. Man, I heard a wild tale about Cabot Phillips. I'm not going to sell it. I'm not going to tell it. But it had to do with maybe why I don't know. I think there's more to that story. We'll see how that plays out. Baron, brother in Christ, you've got mail. Subject pro tip, we found the horse. This one can be shared. Ooh, big into horses, I see. My man loves horses. Thanks, Fuzzy Logic. I'll check it out. Urgent follow-up from last night. The man in the pic looking out the window of the Egyptian plane is almost definitely Paul Singer. Checked after the show, and my jaw literally dropped. Missing link. What? Paul Singer? Are you serious? Boy, it sure does look like him, doesn't it? Holy mackerel. I might have to do a show on that. Oh my gosh, that does look like him. For those that don't know, this is an old show on, I don't even know how I'd find that picture right now, to be honest with you. I've got it in my computer, but I'd have to dig around and find it. I'm leaving that pulled up because I've got to, oh my gosh. What made you even think to do that? That's wild. But it may not be, probably isn't, but it looks just like him. White hoodie. You have 12 minutes to change if it isn't white already. I got bad news, Christina. I just wore the white hoodie like 3 shows ago. Good evening, Baron. I feel like we should see the unseen pic now. What do you say? Not tonight. Not tonight. It's coming. Oh, speaking of pictures, week's gonna be wild. Week's gonna be wild. Oh my gosh. It feels like Christmas. Feels like Christmas. Just counting down the days to Christmas. Navy blue for the win. Romans 15:19. Balkans is always awakening. What? Romans 15:19 has to do with the Balkans? You know, I'm not going to look up every piece of scripture I see. Romans 15. That's the faith chapter. 15:19. Man, that's toward the end of Romans. 15:19. By the power of signs and wonders, by the power of the Spirit of God, so that from Jerusalem all the way around to some other place, I have finished preaching the gospel of Christ. Okie dokie. Oh, is that in the Balkans? Is that what you're saying? That city that I couldn't pronounce is in the Balkans? I need to go to some kind of Bible pronunciation thing. You ever go to a Latin mass, you'll have totally new respect for a priest that can pronounce weird words. Because if you try to follow along, they really going. And the server, he gets over there and he starts announcing some words that you can't understand. I mean, obviously you can, but you got to be ready to understand. Spotify hack. I have an extra phone. I put a video on 3.5 speed to get you some watch time. You are welcome. Hold please. Wiggle, wiggle, nose grab. Hey, good news. We got the notice from Spotify this morning that that we've reached the threshold that they'll start pushing it out for us. So you guys no longer have to do any Spotify hacking. If you want to listen, by all means, please. If you send the show to someone on Spotify, though, remind them they need to. You have the option on Spotify to select whether the shows come up in numerical order or reverse numerical order. Flip them around, like newest first. And that way they're hearing today's show tomorrow and not like a good friend of mine, like one of my very favorite people on earth, texted me tonight and he was like, "Hey, I listened to your show from the other night." And I was like, "Oh, really?" And he was like, "Yeah, it's all about the Google Trends." And I was like, "Where'd you hear that?" And he was like, "Spotify." I said, "Oh my gosh, you just clicked the top one on Spotify, which was the very first show we did on Google Trends." So flip it around and give me another shot because the show has improved substantially since the Google Trends day. All right. Matty B, thank you. There we go. There was a big donation that came in earlier on Rumble, but it's gone. They don't stay that long over there. I'm going to have to bring those up in the middle. We don't Joe, but we Joe. And 10 to 20 sloppy lives. Man, it's bad over there. Woo, it's bad. Bad. Befuddled by daisies. Hey, you used my phrase. Phrases you couldn't remember. Chop suey, System of Down. That's the song I was thinking about. Song you couldn't remember. And Bonaventure, little 4-syllable name. B-name, Saint. You're welcome. Got a high IQ outfit up in here. The IQ level raises substantially, Wajima, when you're in the chat. Like that's befuddled by daisies. That's it. I saw that fly through earlier and made a mention of it. Always look forward to intros. Thank you. Obviously I was going to do the bulk. I had the bulk of that written already, and I was going to do it tomorrow for the for January 6th. But obviously I didn't. Tomorrow there may not be an opening statement just because of the joint show with Ian. I don't want to like take up his time and make him listen to me talk for 15 minutes. So tomorrow may be a little bit different show. I don't do a lot of shows with guests. And I think the way we're going to do it, I'll be a guest on his show. He'll be a guest on my show. We're going to do it simultaneously. But so you may not get one tomorrow, which is why I went ahead and did that one today. Give a vague answer if you need to, and it's in your best interest, but will submit evidence ideas to Tyler's defense team if you believe they carry significant weight. Best regards from Down Under. I don't recommend people contact his defense team. Look, someone asked me the other day, I can't even remember where they were. They were somewhere in the country, and they said, "Hey, do you want me to run by and take pictures of that?" Here's my advice. I love citizen journalism. But always follow the rules. And if you go, I think this was an airport. If you show up at an airport, like you're up at John Toon in Nashville and you want to see a plane landing, and you're standing somewhere and they're like, "Hey, you can't stand there." Say, "Oh, I'm so sorry. I'm leaving right now," and leave. And if you know you're not supposed to stand there, don't stand there. Like that's the key to citizen journalism is not causing a problem. That's just the key. And I don't think we should be contacting any of these people. Not the defense team, not the witnesses, not anybody. Now, I contacted, for example, the people from the concrete job at UVU. They're not witnesses. Well, I mean, maybe they are, but you know, these are public employees that work for the state of Utah that contracted to cover up a crime scene 4 days later. I feel like I'm okay contacting them. They didn't respond, obviously, but that's my advice. If you need to contact these people or you want to contact these people, by all means, follow every rule, follow every direction, and cause no trouble. Can you please say more about Dan Flood pushing over Charlie? It's so disturbing. I mean, so much is, but why would he do this if... Now, a couple of things on that. One, if I am a protectee and I've been shot once and I am sitting on a chair, I want someone to push me down. I want to get down on the ground as fast as possible. It does look bad, but it only looks bad because you know there was only one shot. What if you heard bang, 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 bang? Wouldn't you want him pushed down then? Because you're better off bruising your shoulder or dislocating your shoulder than you are taking like 4 more 30-06 rounds to the chest. So, you know, assuming it's innocent, and I don't believe it was, but assuming it's innocent, I want to be pushed down. I would want Charlie to be pushed down. But I don't think it was. I don't think it was innocent at all. Oh, my gosh. Oh, man, and I wish I could pronounce this. You guys have some wild names. I'll just be honest with you. Like, I have no idea how you log into your accounts. I have no idea how you remember to get in. You guys remind me when I come up with a really good password. I'm like, I'll never forget that. And I go to log in the next day. I'm like, damn it. What was it? I don't even remember the first letter, much less the 13 syllables they made me get. Love the show and your writing, Baron. Congrats on sobriety. I'll have 13 years in April. Congratulations. I almost, I wonder when someone says they have 13 years, I wonder if every day still kind of feels like my every day, where some days I'm like, Or if one day you're like, I never think about it again. I wrote a satirical novel about my alcoholic Romney loving years. Woo, bitter Texas honey. It hasn't sold enough copies for them to put out a paperback. This is my new marketing strategy. Oh, guys, she stole $100 ad. I should have screened it better. No, Rick, I hope people go buy your book. That sounds fun. Oh, man, Romney loving years. But that was probably, I don't know if I held my nose more for McCain or Romney. I voted for both of them. I feel foolish. I mean, what was the alternative? Obama? I felt stupid, but I voted for both of them, and I did not respect myself in the morning. You know those days. I did the walk of shame right out of the voting booth. Like, head down, shoulders slumped, like hoping nobody drove by. Because they'd have known what I just did. And everybody would be like, oh, he's scandalous. And they're screwing around with Romney again. Well-regulated militia being necessary to the security of a free state, the right of the people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed. Yeah, but it is. There's a zillion federal laws. That's infringement. Now, I'm not suggesting Americans should be running around with B-2 bombers and nukes, but I mean, maybe I am. Maybe. Let's see here. 19 years sober. Wow. For those of you that only a few days, it gets better. You're not alone. Yeah, I had a conversation with somebody. Was it on the air or was it by email or what? Somebody just the last couple of days said they were like starting day one. It was on the air because then a friend of mine who had gone through a similar struggle texted me and was like, yep, it's about getting to the next meal. Like, wake up in the morning. Can I get to breakfast? Can I get to lunch? Can I get to dinner? Can I get to bed? Day one down. And then, it gets harder. Then it gets easier. But hate to be the one to tell you. Couldn't wait for this live, but after Candace's live today, I don't know if Andrew Kolvet can be saved at this point. He's got to leave the dark side before his soul is with the Sith. Keep fighting for us. Yeah, man. Andrew's, yeah. I don't know why I feel this kinship with, not kinship, but I don't know why I feel this like responsibility for Andrew's soul. I wish I didn't. It'd be cool if Ian's web could identify and organize into factual data points for use as a modular reporting dashboard for flexible visualization and pattern analysis, especially for Google searches. I think it can. I mean, I think it could be modified for that. I don't know if I haven't talked to him about whether it's completely open source yet or not. You certainly can modify it for that. Two questions. One, have you looked into the shady TPUSA character Bryce Eddy, Terrell Farnsworth, Jake Hoffman? No, yes. What are the advantages and disadvantages of using Rumble versus YouTube? Christ is King. I mean, I think it's preference. Like right now we have 22,000 people on YouTube and 1,000 on Rumble. So Rumble doesn't seem quite the same reach. I don't know from my perspective. I haven't run this long enough to figure out like viewer for viewer, if it's more advantageous for me or for you. If you're on there, I do know that like YouTube's the king, right? And you got to be on YouTube or it's really hard to get going. It's much easier to establish yourself on YouTube and then move to other platforms than it is to establish yourself on other platforms and then move to YouTube. And if you ever, like if half my audience left and went over to Rumble, I think it would hurt the reach of the program because YouTube is such a driver of all the analytics, but I don't know that. That's just my gut instinct. I mean, I know Ian's doing amazing things on Twitch. I know Nick does amazing things on Rumble. Dan Bongino had a great show on Rumble for a long time before he went to the FBI. I know Redacted does well on Rumble and YouTube both. So, I mean, I don't know. I can't answer that question. Christ is King. I can answer that question. Poppy Trollinger tuning in from Cinco de Mayo. Hillary says hello. So I made the connection today, and I don't know what made me make the connection, but I don't. You get thousands of comments on these YouTube things, so you can't read them all. But I do scroll and try to read as many as I can. And I saw his comment come in after the show, and I thought, man, that nice name. I know somebody with that last name. So I kind of like pinched his picture. You know how you can pinch a picture and make it bigger? Actually, I had to screenshot it, pinch it, make it bigger. And I looked, I'll be like, I'll be dadgum. That guy he's a friend of mine. Like, I know his wife. I grew up with his wife. I've known his wife since I was like 8 years old. And I don't know him. I don't know that I've ever met him, but I recognized him from her Facebook pictures. And so I reached out. Thank you, Poppy Trollinger. That's very, very kind of you. And tell your beloved I said hello yet again. Their family was so near and dear to my heart growing up. Like, top 5 families I've ever met. I knew all 3 of the sisters and the parents. I loved both their parents so dearly. Great, great family. Thank you for the generous donation as well. Thank you. When Computer said the pipe bomber was a Capitol Police officer who worked for the CIA, the FBI cracked the case with no new evidence or witnesses. I noticed that, and I almost was going to include that, but I mean, how long can an opening be? You got to pick and choose your facts. But they'd sat on this case for like 4 years and 10 months. The Blaze comes in and says, hey, we think it's a CIA officer who planted the pipe bombs. And all of a sudden they're like, no. Autistic black guy. Autistic black guy. He doesn't communicate much, so don't talk to him. Autistic black guy. He bought some 12-gauge wire from Home Depot 4 years ago. It's got to be him. Like 7 years ago. That was a weird moment, man. And then Pam Bondi having to go on camera and admit, yeah, we didn't have any new information. We just all of a sudden solved it because you guys started pointing fingers at our people. Georgia, thank you. Very kind. Very, very kind. Baron, love your show. Sabby Sab's questions whether TP is a military recruitment op, maybe to bring youth back to patriotism and enlist. Charlie Kirk did not get into West Point. Maybe this was his plan B. I like Sabby first. I think this would be a very sloppy, messy military op, but I do believe there is a deep desire from the military industrial complex for young, conservative, I don't want to say just white people, but I mean, you talk young conservative, and most of them are white. Young conservative white people to sense a swelling feeling of pride and patriotism in order to be the bodies for the meat grinder that is coming. I mean, I think she's onto something there. I don't know if TPUSA was necessarily like, we know there's going to meat grinder coming in 15 years. It's a little tenuous to me, the connection, but you never know. You never know. Greetings from sweltering Australia. To be honest, don't know how people wear no zipper front hoodies. I wear them every day. Keep digging for the truth, Baron. You're away and on your new thing. Good work, Pete. Thank you, Pete. I have a few zipper hoodies, but you must not have an Amazon Essentials hoodie. I mean, a Adidas Essentials hoodie. I mean, it just fits so perfect. It's so perfect. Baron, the R currency is the Brazilian real. Oh, I'm Portuguese living in Brazil. I obviously don't admire all the painters regime did. Oh, you're the one that gave me the R money yesterday. Being a vegetarian now for 36 years was what initially sparked my curiosity about it all. So you went from vegetarian to like, maybe I should check out the Nazis. I'm not a big fan of beef. Let's see what else let's see what else they believed. I get it. Look, I'm not saying you're Nazi. Certainly not. But you gotta be careful out there, man. You gotta be careful what you say out there. In public, especially. I mean, you're advertising it for the world there. And I will say, Mr. Brazil, that I do believe the painter died in South America, probably in Brazil, maybe Argentina. But that might have visited several of those countries down there along the way. I think it's a very high likelihood, probably upwards of 80% or more, that happened and not the official story. So, Baron, are you coming on with Ian to announce your President VP 2028 ticket? Coleman Carroll. Stop the slop. Ooh, I like it. I like it. Putting an end to all the doo-doo and bull butter in Washington. You make fun of me because I don't cuss on air, I see. LOL, JK, but for real. Yes, all the doo-doo and bull butter in Washington. Drain the swamp of the bull butter. Stop the slop. I like that a lot. No, I'm not announcing that. But, man, a Coleman Carroll ticket, a Carol Coleman ticket, that would be a really strong ticket in certain segments of the country. Like, what do you need, 100 million votes to win president? We get upwards of 100,000 maybe. I think we get 100,000 votes. We flip a coin, see who's at the top ticket. I don't want to be at the top. I'll actually defer. I would rather be VP. What a great job. What a great job. Probably the greatest job on the planet. Literally. You literally had the VP could sit back and go, I'm not doing anything. I'm not giving a speech. I'm not going to a meeting. My Venmo is, my PayPal is. You can deposit my check into that account. I'll be over here for 4 years on the couch watching Wapner if you need me. You can't. Constitutionally, there's nothing you can do. He's there, 4-year job, cruising. Attempt 3, I love your content. The only issue is Trump support. He's complicit in Epstein corruption cover-up, just as bad as CK stuff. I used to think he was different too. It's okay to let him grow, brother. Yeah, it's been game over for JFK. Yeah, it's tough, man. It's tough. Like, I remember the meme wars of 2016. I mean, it's you get that 1,000-yard stare when you think back about it. It's if you weren't in the trenches, you don't know what it was like. It was a wild time to be in politics. 2014, 15, 16, 17 even. Just wild. By 2020, the polish had kind of shine. The shine had worn off the turd, but man, 2016 was something else. Like the feeling I got, the feeling of elation, it's been game over since JFK. When I'm watching, because we were, of modest means, watching on a little, it might be one of these TVs in here that I've got using as a monitor, watching on a little like 14-inch flat screen, watching Trump drop the because you'd be in jail line on Hillary Clinton in the debate, turning around and high-fiving my wife, doing a little chest bump. It was awesome, man. What a time to be alive. And then being told he's a 1% chance or less of being president, and you go into that night with this just defeatist mindset, but you show up at the polls that morning anyway because that's what you're supposed to do, and you look, and there's just people. You've never seen so many people at a polling location in your life, and you're like, well, maybe if this is being replicated in every conservative precinct in America, maybe he could take down a Pennsylvania. Maybe he could take down an Ohio. Just maybe he could take down a Florida if it looks like this in every conservative precinct. And then watching them roll in that night and watching Rachel Maddow, Wolf Blitzer have to announce state after state the president won. And then at 11, 12, 1 o'clock in the morning, they have to announce, ladies and gentlemen, the president of the United States, Donald J. Trump. And just watching the just devastate, it was worth it. Like everything we had worked for in that moment, you felt it. It was the weight of the world in that moment. And then he bombed Syria and whatever. I mean, like, you gotta understand how that works. But I wonder if Joe is a new sub to Blinking Gary. Yeah, probably. That's funny. Recent emails today must read. Got it. Thanks, Greg. Thanks, Georgia. Why do most corrupt fruits in the bowl paint themselves as Catholic? Erika Kirk, Andrew K., Biden, Brigitte Macron. Erika Kirk she was born and raised Catholic, and I guess you can't, from that perspective, dry off that ointment. But I don't think she considers herself like a good practicing Catholic right now. Andrew Kolvet, I don't know. Again, I think he was born and raised Catholic. I don't know whether he's a weekly mass attendee. So here's the kind of Elo. Here's how it breaks down. And thanks for your Canuck bucks. If you ask people like, what is your position on whatever? And then are you Catholic, Protestant, Jewish, whatever? The Catholics will be just basically an amalgamation of the country. They're just sort of 50-50 on everything. pretty much every issue. But if you say, do you attend mass at least 52 times a year? All of a sudden, the Catholics are like uber right-wingers. Now, that's the breakdown. Like it's 85-15 at that point. And so when's the last time Brigitte Macron took her little Macron to church? Right? That's the thing is, I mean, are we supposed to paint all Methodists bad people because of George Bush? When you pray for someone for an extended period of time, your spirit longs more and more for their salvation. God, glad you'll be on the air more now. Yeah, I'm feeling that with Andrew, man. The more I pray for him, the more I just like have this yearning to see him. It's a difficult thing to express. It's not something I can articulate. It's not easily articulable. I would have trouble satisfying the Terry versus Ohio standard. Reasonable and articulable suspicion. Thank you for that. Can Tyler get a new attorney not picked by the prosecution if he has a GoFundMe? No faith his attorney demand autopsy photos of chest, everyone in the back of the SUV covering up evidence. So Tyler ultimately can pick his own attorneys anytime. We don't know what they're doing. Like I'll be honest, the Burt connection, if he really is a cousin of one of the TPUSA people that was there, that's weird. The fact that I don't think the county attorney picked unless they do it weird in Utah. Typically, the court system picks either the judge or maybe an administrator for the court system picks the actual attorney, not typically the prosecution. I know there was a little wrinkle because someone was running for prosecutor, but I don't think it was the actual prosecutor that picked him, but I could be wrong. Let's see here. Our good friend Daisy unearthed a very valuable set of data in your email. Should be helpful. Should be a helpful tool to use regarding Brian Harple. Oh, we have the best employee in America. Daisy puts up with no bull butter, no doo-doo. Just gets the job done. Daisy confirming those tickets was one of the greatest things I ever watched. So I will go back and make sure I check that. Employee of the year. Thank you, Cash Money. I almost feel bad for Andrew. You can see panic in his face every time he speaks. Love your show. Second favorite. Keep up the great work. Well, if I would have ever known I would be someone's second favorite, I've been my mom's second favorite my whole life. To my sister. Let's see here. Coco Elaine. Congrats on your new career path. I really enjoy your content. Look forward to your show every evening. Thank you for all you're doing. Uncover the truth about Charlie. Well, thank you. Thank you for the generous donation. Thank you for the support. Like, subscribe. How many likes? Oh, I did this last night and it hurt my feelings. So let me see. How many likes are we at? Go over to my studio page here. Okay. We have 7,800 likes and 20,000 plus live viewers, which means fewer than half of you have liked the program, liked the show. Go down there and click the button. Boop. It takes no time at all. The value the like button has, it just rockets the show up the algorithm. Increases the reach manifold. So thank you. Thank you for the donation. Thank you for the idea. We don't JoJo, but we Joe. As a JoJo, I approve this work. This merch. JoJo, thank you for the generous contribution and the idea. Hope sunny summer in Australia is treating you well. I told my wife that I have a gut feeling Andrew wasn't originally complicit, but a lie of this magnitude requires too many lies to keep up with, and unfortunately, he has a difficult decision to make. I wouldn't be so sure about that first part. He does have a difficult decision to make. He has a very, very difficult decision to make. Baron, the reason why you're speaking to Andrew C. direct is God speaking through you. Sad that he is a lost Christian. I feel almost as bad for him as I do Joe. I feel much worse for Andrew. I'm just kidding. Actually, probably feel worse for Joe. It's not her fault. It's not her fault. Let me see here. All right. Hey, Baron, red is your color. Going back to what you said, how Charlie was not getting out of there alive. Mikey's quick exit while security ensures the job is done behind the table makes a lot more sense now. Foreknowledge. Yeah. I think there were a number of people who knew the moment they rolled up to the venue, the job was already done. There was a 0% chance he was getting out of there alive. So thank you for that, Kristen Bartle. Very kind, very kind. You guys and your Cutler stuff, man. You guys love Cutler. There's a Cutler crew out there. You remember Cutting Crew? Was that the name of the band, Cutting Crew? There's a Cutler crew out there. They love talking about Rick Cutler. If Cutler triggered the mic bomb, his surprised expression was seeing his neck damaged instead of his chest. Maybe what he was smiling about. I wondered about that with Cutler because he walked up and he was like, "Oh, boys, what did you do?" I love the Candace Barron cop, good cop, Candace Barron, good cop, bad cop secret. I won't tell a soul. Is Ian the police chief? He'd be a good one. He's already got the mustache. All he needs is a little hat. And I'll be the bad cop that comes in there and has to slam my gun down on the desk. Come on, Sarge. She deserved it. And Candace just sitting over there on the other side of the desk. I don't know why you made me be his partner. I don't even know this guy. I don't like him. I don't know why this newbie was forced to be in my squad car. That'd be a great show. If somebody could create that on AI, send it to me. It's going everywhere. Going everywhere. It'd be amazing. When M. Kelly was on CK's show after he passed, Andrew told a story about him wanting to tell a white lie to get Charlie Kirk out of an event. He said Charlie texted him back and said, "We don't lie." Guess Andrew forgot. Could explain why Charlie's no longer with us. You know what I mean? It could explain why Charlie's no longer with us. Starting a new fund, your wife's fund. I know she's your hero for giving birth to your 8 kids. She's my hero for letting you quit your job and share your brilliant mind with us. And this, in case this project fails, let's not talk like that. It would be really devastating if this project fails. It would be like 10 people would be out on the street with hats out going, euros, spare euros. You have any yen? Can we get some yen? You have any pesos? We'll take anything you got at this point because I'm used to getting all this crazy money. The L bucks, you got any pounds sterling? No. Let's not talk about that. Let's not go there. We're knocking. Knock, knock, knock. It's a real wood. All right. I'm so grateful I found your show. As a young widow myself, I spotted some very weird reactions from Erika immediately. I know what it looks like to lose someone you actually loved, and she has never shown it. Oh, man, I'm sorry you lost somebody. I genuinely am sorry you lost somebody. But yeah, man, I tried to hold off as long as I could saying that, maybe she just grieves weird. But then, like the fireworks were too much. The glitter, the outfits, the lace, I'm going to wear black, but it's going to be leather pants and lace. Like, whoa, what, girl? You own a modest dress? Something that this is a good one. Something that won't scandalize your whole family. Would the doctor even know what caliber was used that early into the incident? That's a very astute question you've raised, Winter Frenzel. Let me make a suggestion. The answer to that question is no. The doctor is not the one digging around for the bullet. I mean, you wouldn't just think about the role of an emergency room doctor, like an emergency room general surgeon. You come in and you have your I don't know if it's a jugular or aorta, but something big was just severed right there, right? You have all this trauma right to the neck. You're bleeding out. What's the doctor's job? Save your life. Clamp that thing off. Start putting units of blood into you. See if we can get a pulse back. Put one of those poof things on your mouth. Clamp. The doctor's not going in there going, well, let me evaluate here. Well, there's a 30-06 or is this a 308? A 300 Win Mag? What is this? That's not the doctor's role. That's not the doctor's role. A very astute comment there. Baron, heart your show. Candace and Erika meeting was the same day the CK show live stream had Gary violating the ceasefire. Gary is a gun expert. This makes sense. He gave TPUSA frangible bullet cover for the 30-06. Yeah. Yeah. I don't want to say that. Somebody on Rumble asked, will I tell you who the Magi were? Hold on. I got to find it. I might not be able to do it tonight. I might have to do it tomorrow or something. Well, Ian will be on tomorrow. I'll do it soon. I can't remember. I can't remember where it was. I have to go find it. Let's see here. Abraham sent family east. Who was that? Ah, here it is. Found it. Aha. Yes, I can tell you, young grumbler, where it was. About the frangible gun thing. Yeah, I wonder. I wonder about that. But see, the problem is I like Nate at Valhalla. And some of these people who were kind of saying, well, maybe if it was frangible, I have a hard time believing Nate would have gone to them or answered their call and said, hey, you're really blowing it on this 30-06 thing. You need to switch to frangible round. It's the only thing that would. I don't think he would do that. I haven't asked him. I guess I could. All right. So Abraham bore sons by a guy named, that's weird. By a woman named Keturah. Keturah. This is Genesis 25. Abraham took another wife whose name was Keturah. She bore him Zimran, Jokshan, Medan, Midian, Ishbak, and Shua. Jokshan became the father of Sheba and Dedan. The descendants of Dedan were Ashuram and Letushim. And you can see I did not take a biblical pronunciation class. And the Luramim, the descendants of Midian, were Ephah, Epher, Hanok, Abidah, Eldaha. All these were descendants of Keturah. Now listen, here's where it gets it. Abraham gave everything that he owned to his son Isaac. To the sons of his concubine, however, he gave gifts while he was still living, as he sent them away eastward to the land of Kedem, away from his son Isaac. So where is the Kedem? Where did they go? Remember, these wise men came from the east. So where did they come? The Kedemites of the Easterners. That was a general designation for people living on the eastern border of Syria and Palestine, as far north as Haran, as far south as the northern end of the Red Sea. So they were just to the east. It's not like they were like in China, just to the east there. But keep in mind, if he sends them away eastward and they're his descendants, the promise was to Abraham and his descendants. They would know what's happening. It gets me back to this, frankly. One of the most corrupted verses in the history of the Bible. You guys are going to get Bible Hour, Bible by Barron, BBB. I'm a BBB. A Bible by Coleman. All right. What's the famous verse here? About, oh gosh, what is it? I'll just look it up on Google. It's the bless those who bless you and curse those who curse you. That's it's in Genesis, right? Yeah, Genesis 12:3. So we'll go back to this. That's what I was looking for. I was right there. I was looking too far down on that chapter. So listen to who it says here. It doesn't say, we always substitute Israel in here, but listen to what it says. I will bless those who bless you and curse those who curse you. He's talking to Abram, not even Abraham yet. He hadn't even changed his name yet. He calls Abram, go forth from your land, your relatives, and from your father's house to the land I will show you. I will make you a great nation. I will bless you. I will make your name great so that you will be a blessing. I will bless those who bless you and curse those who curse you. Talking to Abram, including the descendants he sent to the east, including everyone else in the region. That is not limited to only one line of his lineage. Sorry. I hate to get so biblical here. All that because somebody asked me to say about where they came from. But yeah, that to me, that's what it is. It's plain as day. Those are Abraham's people. If they were sent to the east, then the wise men came from the east. And it would make sense that they would know the plan. He didn't send them away without knowledge. He gave them everything. Everything. All right. Back to where we were. All right. I love the truth. And yes, Erika and Andrew are both monsters. They obviously lied to delay the investigation. Love you and Candace Owens. Hope Bean, thank you for the generous donation. I can't say without a 100% certainty that I know they're lying. What I can say is if Candace is right, they look really terrible. And I think she's right. In my opinion. It's my opinion she's right. Hold on, I got to pick another one here. At the 20-minute mark of the Charlie Kirk Show, hosted by Tucker on 9/19, Andrew preps us for the neck of steel tweet he would make the next night. I'd have to check that out. I'm not going to do it right now, but that's not fake and gay like your name is there. A DNA test fund for Charlie's kids. I don't look like him. If AK wasn't telling Candace Owens one thing, BTS, and something else representing TPUSA, the dishonesty of TPUSA may not have been so obvious. Given he leaked the leaving the Jewish cause text, he played an important role for the good. I don't think he intended to play the important role for the good. I think that took him by great surprise that it was leaked. But yes, he inadvertently did a lot of good. He inadvertently did a lot of good. Let's see here. Ooh, this is interesting. There's a reason why Charlie warned everyone to be careful of who they marry. Don't have different politics or life views. He didn't realize. Oh, I don't want to say she's a harlot. He didn't realize they were unequally yoked. Let's say that. That's interesting. I didn't think about that. I will say, anytime they talked about their marriage on a podcast together, it was like I had like ninth hand embarrassment. It was so awful. So awful. Don't you have suspicions about your commander-in-chief when it comes to the Charlie Kirk thing? His actions or lack thereof after the death was very disturbing. I think the whole thing is much bigger than TPUSA. Thanks for everything. Yeah, I kind of covered that at the end. I don't know what time you sent that text. 7:42. Yeah, I covered that probably closer to 8:15. So I think I answered your question there, but thank you for the generous donation. Great thought. You and I share it. Tell Ian to stop automatic mail bonding. Now you've learned how dumb and mean Gary is. Don't you think you should be more perspicacious next time? Big word. That's $7 word. You just paid $7 just to use that word. $7 Canadian dollars. I don't know that Ian auto mail bonds. I think he uses pretty good judgment. But, and then look, I know you guys are going to get on to me because this is the way I was with Erika. And now I've kind of turned on her. But I've not 100% given up on Gary. I think Gary had some good content back in the day. If he could get back to like guns and angles, and I think he could do a good job. But he's struggling. I'm behind. Just started. Was late because Candace Owens had an important call. But Baron, I'm here now. Candace Owens had because of Candace Owens and had an important call. I see. You're excused. You are excused. Anytime you have an important call or Candace Owens, you can show up late. Apparently, you weren't the only one with an important call, because I know what the wave looks like of people coming in and the timeline it normally takes, and it was delayed by like 4 minutes today for some reason. I don't know what it was. I thought for a second you guys didn't like the opening. I thought, wow, they really hate the January 6th talk. Maybe that's what it was. Let's see here. Per Harmeet Dillon, January 6, 2026 is not a deadline for DOJ to bring prosecutions. Is she knowingly misleading? So conspiracy will toll statutes. Maybe that's what she's talking about. I don't know. The statute for conspiracy for RICO maybe is a little longer. I don't know. We'll have to look at that. I don't know what she's talking about. Baron on fire. I'm just being a bad cop. Just being myself. You guys get what you get. Every night I turn on this microphone. I promise you two things. I'm going to be prepared and I'm going to be myself. And part of being myself is I'm not going to give you the bull doo-doo. I'm not going to lie to you. I'm not going to misrepresent what we're looking at. I'm going to tell you my honest thoughts on it. If people don't like it, whatever. They'll write a comment and say, "Don't you want to give up on Trump yet?" And I'll say, "Well, he's still hanging there. He's still there for now. We'll see how it goes." Please stop saying passed away. He was murdered, assassinated, and even neutralized is better. Old people pass away. Charlie was killed. Lawyer me. Of course, I'm playing side. Yes, Jill. Yes, Jill. And I read your comment. There's this little thing called the YouTube algorithm. And the grislier, the number of grisly words you use in a given period of time, it starts going, oh, we should double check on what's happening in there. They sound like they're getting out of control. Neutralize is fine. The first two, use them sparingly. Use them sparingly. You go saying the M word 100 times, and they're gonna peek on what you're doing here. I don't want them peeking on what we're doing in here. They don't need to look in here. Don't ever need them looking around in here. And they come in here and they say everything's bull butter. Make American kids healthy again. CDC shrinks childhood vax schedule. That was on my list of things to talk about, but you got booted for time. I did vote for this. Not an easy talk at HHS. Kudos to RFK Jr. So yes, and that was going to be my take. Is at least he threw us a bone on the vax schedule. Shrunk the vax schedule from like 72 childhood vaccines to 55 to 17, I think is what they shrunk it down to. Something ludicrous. And so if we can get a reduction in harm to children, and I do think that would result in a reduction in harm to children, then I'm all for it. And congratulations. Like, I don't care if, I mean, who's the most monstrous person that's ever led a country ever? Like, not everything they do is monstrous, probably. So, like our friend with the vegetarian. he was keen on vegetarianism, and all of a sudden was like, well, he's not wrong on that. So, yeah. HIPAA does not die with the patient from a medical professional. Yes. That's a good thing. Because we don't want all our embarrassing stuff coming out when we die. Starting a fund for the exorcism of EK. Look, I can't keep track of all these funds in my head. I've already got the bomb dog fund going. I can't have the exorcism fund. And I don't think exorcisms cost anything. My priest did in Colombia. I'll go down there to mass sometimes. He is a exorcist. He's the exorcist for the diocesan for the diocese of Nashville. He's a kind of a YouTube celebrity. If you look him up, Father Dan Rehill, very smart guy, has some crazy exorcism stories, and I can't imagine what would come flying out of Erika. I kid. Sort of. Low T Move in Sim City. Nice. Add those to the Baron Hoodie collection merch. You know what I had to do? I had to just come up with a hoodie and give you like 90 choices to choose from, and like you click it and it populates and then prints. That would be ideal. The low T move. I forgot I said that. Baron, if a husband dies in a car crash, how would a normal widow react if the wrecked car and the officer that was first on the scene to hear his last dying words showed up at the funeral? Would they act like Erika at Amfest? Oh, that's interesting. Yeah. I mean, I don't think anybody like. Here's a better question. What if they then brought the car to the funeral and people were taking selfies with it? Because isn't that essentially what happened? Isn't that essentially what happened at Amfest? They brought the car that like the husband died in a car wreck and the car was just mangled. And they brought the car and people were opening the door and sitting where the husband, like they were moving like his scalp pieces out of the way. And they were like pulling his pieces of his femur and like move and sitting there and like, honk, honk. That's a sin. They were taking pictures under the tent. They were in the car where the drunk driver smashed into the front of him. Where the engine fell out on him. They were in the car and they were like, that is sick. That is gross. You people disgust me. 2026. Oh, that's an interesting number to give. Thank you for the year, obviously. Or you just like the number, but I probably think it's the year. Hello, Baron. Anyone who still thinks Charlie Kirk was shot and neutralized with a bullet needs to explain how it caused his ring to melt off his finger. Love your channel and vivacious personality. Viva Cristo Rey. Viva Cristo Rey, indeed. Rosa Maria. I don't think the ring melted off. I do believe it had a little latch. I don't have a wedding ring near me, or I'd show you. Yeah, I do. I have one of these. So this will work. So it was on his hand. This is not a ring. This is a rubber band from a piece of packaging that came in, but it's going to be the ring tonight. So it was on his hand. It had a latch. So the latch came off and it fell down on the outside, and then it froze like against his hand, not in between like I'm holding there. But you see how gravity won't let it hold here for me. It would be like that, but it was like this. He's holding the microphone and the ring freezes to his hand. Now, I got to get back to this electrocution stuff because I think there's something to it. I have looked into this. I've talked to experts. Could an alloy ring, not a solid gold ring, but an alloy ring, if a person's being electrocuted, be attracted to the source of electrical flow? And the answer I have gotten by many people is yes. The ring, one of the reasons it may not have fallen until the currency stopped is because the ring was being attracted to the microphone. So I'm not off the other thing too is a lot of the very high quality pictures as they're carrying him off, he has goosebumps all over his body, on his rib cage, on his chest, on his back, on his arms, goosebumps all over his arms. Go Google goosebumps and electrocution. Then Google gunshots and electrocution. They don't exist. Google gunshots and goosebumps. Gunshots and electrocution. I mean, all right. I'm ruining the bit. Gosh, you guys. I'm ruining the bit. Google goosebumps and electrocution. Google goosebumps and gunshot. Does not happen. Does not happen. I'm sorry, guys. You deserve better. I tell you that all the time, but it's true. Thanks for the repeated call to Andrew Kolvet to repent. And for tonight's prayer request for Andrew Kolvet. Yes, we need 20,000 people praying. 19,000, 35 people on right now. We need all of them praying for Andrew Kolvet. Deep, earnest, begging God prayers. Intercessory prayers is a big deal. Thanks for exposing truth and Andrew Kolvet and compassion for his eternal soul at the same time. Christ is king. He made marshmallows white as snow. God didn't make marshmallows. Like Satan made some of the stuff on earth. God didn't make marshmallows. Don't try to give that to him. God, every time you eat a marshmallow, he's like, I didn't sign up for this. Like, I didn't make these in nature. I gave him blueberries. I gave him strawberries, and they're going to marshmallows. Give them diabetes. Cut their insulin off. Turn it off. High IQ people, smash that like button. I don't know if we call them. I don't know if they're still high IQ after that one. How many likes do we have now? Oh, we're almost to 10,000. So there's only half of you that haven't pressed the like button. Come on, hit the like button. We'll give you time. Can you pass on my Boise, Idaho jet details to Ian? I've even looked that jet up, but nothing shows up as landing when I saw land. Yes, of course I can. I still have those. Thank you, Simple Man Sam. I still have the video and everything. I just haven't been able to do anything. I haven't been able to find anything there. Ian's a genius, though. He might be able to. Pretty sure the Hamptons meeting was August 3 to 5 as Charlie Kirk was venting on Megyn Kelly's show on August 6. Can someone double check? I'm not sure that's the date, but I could be just wrong. I would not be the first time I've been wrong. Andrew Kolvet, as we say in Brazil, is probably eating the bread the devil needed, meaning he enduring several hardships. Yeah, maybe. If you're the bad cop and Candace is the good cop, then Tim D is the forensic psychologist because he nailed it. It's not really the crime. It's the gaslighting that's so maddening. We know, and we know. Tim Dillon, I would pay to watch him. I would give him $150 if he would do a 1 hour special on Charlie Kirk and like hit me with Charlie Kirk. Hit me with the quality of content he's done on Charlie Kirk so far. I mean, every time he speaks on it, I'm like, yes, you just worded it better than anyone else. We're all trying to say what you just said, and you said it better. Every time. Every single time I look at him, like, how's he do that? Jess Happy, back for more, Jess Happy. Thank you. Charlie Kirk was super into planes, like spectrum knowledgeable. A lot of spectrum knowledge in him. Anyway, way too many holes. Great to have the Baron here to close the gaps. Great podcast. Go Max and Kolvet's gotta effing go. Well, he needs to go to heaven. So we got to get him there. And we're gonna pray. We're gonna pray him out of this. I think is the plan right now. We're gonna. That's plan A. We'll go to plan B later. Plan B. You're not gonna like plan B. Plan A is nice. We're gonna pray him into heaven for the next couple of days. See what happens. Well, not into heaven. We're not directly into heaven. We're not wishing he would go from the planet. We're just wishing he would go from the sin. See, you gotta be careful when you're praying. You got to pray with specificity. The Lord will give you something, and then one day you'll die. You go up there and be like, why did you kill Andrew Kolvet? You'd be like, you said we had to go. No, that's not what I meant. So you got to be very literal with the Lord. No, I'm kidding. Yeah. But I'm glad you did that. I like that. Be yourself. It's why you are where you are. I also like that you quote scripture responsibly. Oh, I do lots of things responsibly, ma'am. Lots of things do I do responsibly. Love the work, Baron. With the collab coming up with Ian, would love to hear your thoughts on Vegas and John Cullen. We can hit on that tomorrow. I'd have to dig it out, and it's been a while, but I did many, many hours on Vegas back in the day. On John Cullen, I thought about reaching out to Jason Goodman. We've had some interaction on X here lately, and I love Jason Goodman. We don't always agree, but I love the guy. I can't explain why. He just it's his personality. He reminds me of like a more politically knowledgeable Woody Allen that I agree with like 60% of the time, 70% of the time. Whereas Woody Allen, I don't find particularly politically knowledgeable. I don't agree with him. But the same kind of feel. Like I feel like I'm watching Annie Hall when I watch Jason Goodman talking to somebody. And it's amazing. It works. It absolutely works. He should change nothing. It's amazing. But he, obviously when you've got a pet theory, you want everybody to cover your pet theory. He's got one. I've got one. But, I don't care if people don't cover my pet theory. I don't think they're dodging it. I just assume they don't have time. They're doing other stuff. But yeah, we could talk Vegas. I don't think John Cullen's missing. I think Jason Goodman basically confirmed he's fine. He's just checked out of public life for a little while. Mrs. Coleman is that wife, and we thank her. Yeah, Mrs. Coleman's great. She's fantastic. Door's locked. I'd invite her in for you guys to say hey. I don't know that she would come in. She's shy. Mrs. Coleman's very shy. She exists. You guys I don't think there's a Mrs. Coleman. I don't even think he has kids. You guys lying about everything. I don't see a wedding ring. So Baron, I don't think there's any way they asked Charlie who takes over if you die. I think that whole conversation Erika made up, and it's to cover for her taking over him. Charlie would have wanted her care for kids. Hey, listen, I think they could have asked. I mean, honestly, what's creepier? Scott or Sco, whatever your name is. Sco Oach. What's creepier? They ask him, what are your plans when you die? You're 31 years old, and we're asking, what is your plan when you die? That's creepy, but you know what's even creepier than that? A wife who works that into the conversation. That's even creepier than that. And I'm not sure which I think, I think it's more likely they asked her, as creepy as that is. This from a Rumble. Coach Colin was fanboying over you today. You're awesome. Well, Theo's Gaga. I fanboy over Coach Colin. I listened to his show. I listened to 2 of his shows today. I don't know how I ended up a show behind. But yeah, I had to listen to 2 Coach Colin shows today just to catch up. And I didn't know I missed one. Big fan, been watching since under 15,000 subs. Well, you've been here a long time. Or you've been here a couple months. Inspiring. You mentioned my video last night regarding LLC, life insurance policy. Glad you found it valuable. Thanks for watching. Keep up the good fight. Thanks. Hey, Original Dankster, that was a cool video. You did a good job with that. And I was surprised. Have you gotten more views on that? Let me check that real quick. Because it was an excellent video, well done, well researched, and I was frankly shocked it didn't have more didn't have more views. Oh gosh, what's your YouTube handle? LLC Charlie Kirk Life Insurance. I don't remember how I found it, and I've since gone away from it. Did Jesse cover it? Because there's his from one day ago. I'll have to find it again. Hey, email me. Don't pay another comment. Email me your video so that I'll give it some play. I really liked it. I thought it did a good job. Original Dankster, but I looked up Original Dankster on YouTube and didn't see it. No, I don't. No, I didn't see that. I don't know what that was. That's not. I don't think that's you. It certainly wasn't the video I watched. Charlie's grave hasn't been disclosed. No one sees these kids. Do they actually exist? I think she was a plant. And it was all fake. Truman Show. I'll be honest. Like, where are those kids? And why does? Yeah, I don't know. I'm not getting into it. Like, raise your own kids. I'm not going to judge her. But where are the kids? You know, the PGA is a damn nonprofit. What does that mean? What does that mean? The Professional Golf Association? But the PGA doesn't make a bunch of money, does it? Like the players do, but they don't. Is the PGA a nonprofit? Yeah, it's a nonprofit. It's a 501c6. Okay, so it's a 501c6. It's not a tax-deductible nonprofit. That's different. That different. The Duchess of Camelot. Is there a Duchess of Camelot? My 17-year-old cat died the same day as Charlie. I ugly cried for a month. I always said either Erika Kirk is the strongest woman alive and I'm a snowflake, or there's something evil about Erika Kirk. R.I.P. Gizzy. I'm going to assume that's Gizzy, and you didn't name your cat the soft G, because that would be weird. We're going with Gizzy here. 17-year-old cat. I mean, honestly, after 17 years, weren't you kind of ready for it to go? I kid. I'm not trying to dance on your cat's grave. Duchess, I've lost pets. Yeah, it's Gizzy, not the other. I'm hoping. To me, this is a hostile business takeover. I bet they were absolutely fuming when Charlie Kirk turned on the money because he knew the strings. Yeah. People who run nonprofit businesses are always millionaires. I used to joke with my husband, why aren't we in a nonprofit business? I always used to joke with my wife, like, if we weren't Catholic, I would be a great Protestant preacher and I would get very wealthy. I would crush it up there. You see me walking around with the Bible in the hand. You guys better repent. Actually, no, that wouldn't get you any money. You can do that at the Catholic Church because they're held hostage. They don't have anywhere else to go. There's one Catholic church in town. It's not like you're running them off to the neighboring parish. But the Protestant church, you got to, hey, if you follow this good book, you're going to get very wealthy. I don't know what they say over there. I'm sure that's not it either. But I mean, there's Benny Hinn. There's Paula White. You know, they exist. I'd have been a good one. I don't care what you have to say. I'd have done it. I'd have gotten rich. But the Catholics don't let us do that. They don't let us do that. BB offering to make Andrew a millionaire with our tax dollars, and EK pouting about losing out on that extra bread. Yeah. I mean, that's kind of what it feels like. Not only Erika pouting about losing out, but I mean, honestly, let's say you're Andrew Kolvet. You obviously have no conscience about lying, or I don't want to say obviously no conscience about lying, because I don't know that that's true necessarily. I mean, I'm taking Candace on face value, but he has been caught, I think, in some pretty obvious lies, like the quote from the doctor that later they come out and said the doctor didn't say that. Well, then he lied. Okay, so yeah, he has no conscience about lying on Twitter, at least with respect to that quote. And, you know, I look at that and I say, how would he have reacted to losing millions of dollars? I mean, probably poorly. Courtney Clinton, $100. Thank you. Baron, saying the hard things out loud. Yes, Erika Kirk's a monster. A plant in Charlie's life. Another great lie from the master. Look, I don't want to be accused of attacking these people either. It's not about that. Like, to me, this is tough love. This is like good old-fashioned biblical, old school medieval biblical justice. Like, I need you guys to repent. I need you guys to stop this. If you get caught lying, apologize, and don't tell another lie to make up for it. Come on back. Moan back. Moan back. That's what I need you to do. I need you to get there. Moan back. We'll see. I don't know. We'll see. Maybe if we put Andrew in our prayers, he will feel it on his heart. Come down clean. Or by a burner throat to leak the truth. The truth shall set you free, Andrew, and from hell. Yeah. He knows how he can reach out to people. I mean, I'm not, there's a million people he could reach out to, I'm sure. And the Lord can put it on his heart. But I'll tell you, man, spiritual warfare is real. Like being captive to the other side, that's a real thing. You know, when Jesus said, I'm coming to set you free from the bondage to sin, what do you think the bondage to sin is? Concupiscence? No, obviously not. And we all have concupiscence. That doesn't mean we're bonded to sin. When you hear bonded to sin, when Jesus said, I'm coming to set you free from bondage to sin and death, that's a different word. That's not concupiscence. That is like, possession. That's like you've vacated the house and other people have moved in. And so it might take a lot of prayer to remove something like that. I'm not saying he's devil possessed, but she might be. No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding. That's humor. That's parody. That's funny. I'm outraged by the picture booth at AmFest. Same. The death tent, same, or facsimile of such. I don't think it's the original, but it looks a lot like it. They're throwing in our faces, can't get any sicker. Agreed. 100% agreed, Lynn Maria. Alpaca Renee, you're on fire. You're on fire, Alpaca Renee. Great show. Ordered some throat coat for your cough. Bomb Dog Fund. We're up to 5:30. Keep up the outstanding work. Thanks to your wonderful family and sharing you with us. Go Max. Go Max to you, Alpaca Renee. My family's the best. The GOAT. If they planned this and they knew he wasn't going to actually be taken out by TR, then they had to have already paid off the doctor to say he died from a gunshot. So the doc is lying, as well as Erika. I'm not sure, because if you show up with a hole in your neck, the doctor says, oh, gunshot. Like, I don't know that the doctor knows how the hole got there. The medical examiner might. The medical examiner might want to know how the hole got there. But the doctor's like trying to clamp the bleeding and put blood into the body and get the breath started and get the heart started and see if he can save his life. And when he can't, then he takes off his gloves and he walks out and he smokes a cigarette and he, eats a hot dog or whatever doctors do these days. I don't know. Maybe I watch too many old movies. Proud Australian here. Why do you have a presence here? I don't know. Oh, you're about to tell me. Firstly, love your work. Okay. Love Candace. Love Ian. Australia's a close ally of the United States. You go to war, we go to war. The story and the wider context goes well beyond the USA. Be darling art. Well, thank you. That makes a lot of sense to me. Like I said, I've said this before. Australia used to be kind of America's backup plan. We'd all look at each other and say, America's great, but one day it may go to doo-doo. Where are we all going if it does? And we go, Australia. It's the first place we go. And, maybe New Zealand, but they're kind of weird. Small place. Australia seemed better. Y'all got weird bugs, though. I'm not sure how I'd do with that. I don't do bugs. I'm not a bug person. Y'all got weird bugs, big spiders, like gigantic birds that attack people. It's a dystopian nightmare there, basically. Maybe I'm glad you live there, and I'm glad we're big in Australia, but maybe I'll stick to places that don't have such weird critters. Congrats going full time. Go Max, huge supporter. Reply to your email. Streamless can give you TV quality and turn the I'll help viewers into legit producers. Let's chat. So my wife is collecting a folder of people offering to help the program. If you email, you'll get in there. I got to do it in time. I've got to do it on the schedule that I am trying to hold myself to. So I'm not necessarily responding to people who are offering to help, but that doesn't mean I'm not considering it. That doesn't mean I don't read your stuff and I'm not appreciative and I'm not saving it for a better day. Hello, Baron. This is my fourth video watching you. Just FYI, Candace also mentioned that Mikey McCoy's wife approved of the tent to be at AmFest where Charlie Kirk passed away. 2026, the American people are awake and not buying the BS. Steve, I saw that, and that's kind of wild because how? This went wrong twice. It went wrong the first time when someone brought it up. Like the second somebody was like, you know what we ought to do? Like right then, somebody had been like, no. Or what should we do? We ought to put the tent. No, we'll put the tent. What are you talking? Just a replica, not the original tent. Not the one with the bomb dust all on the inside. No. Not the one with black fragmented plastic stuck in. No, we're not doing that one. We're going to do just a replica tent. Hear me out. No, we're not doing a replica tent. It's not happening. We're not doing the replica tent. That's where it should have died. When they were setting it up is the second time it went wrong, and somebody didn't look over there and be like, the hell are you guys doing? What are you doing? Why is that in here? Get it out. Over the wall. All of you. That's where it went wrong the second time. Baron, General Giat is no different than most cops. I understand why people on the right have an unhealthy reverence to people in uniform when these are the tip of the spear and represents the government's monopoly on violence. I don't understand why the people on the right. Because we on the right tend to be law abiders. I mean, the rank and file. I'm not talking about the TPUSA people. The law abiding people on the right, like the just your average guy punching the clock 40 hours a week and he votes Republican. We think, maybe he has a few too many here and there, or maybe but I mean, he's not out there like raising hell. He's not knocking over liquor stores. He's not, he's not robbing people at gunpoint. He doesn't murder people and try to get away with it. So we're kind of thankful because the cops then patrol our neighborhoods and they chase down the bad guys and we don't really have to deal with them all that much. Maybe the occasional speeding ticket or something, but I think that's why we have that reverence for people in uniform, and we're thankful that they exist. Generally, I mean, are there bad cops? Sure. Are there bad surgeons? Yes. They ruin a lot of lives when they're bad surgeons. Are there bad lawyers? Yes. And their clients are sitting in prison. That's terrible because maybe they didn't do it. Have you seen the house Erika Kirk and Charlie Kirk sold before he was taken out? Yes. It looked like an expensive resort you go to on vacation and spend thousands to stay at. They had other homes, Arizona, Florida too. Yeah, I saw it all. It was, they lived a remarkable lifestyle. They lived a truly remarkable lifestyle. And I don't know for the life of me remember when Bear was like chill on Erika Kirk? She's a grieving widow. Now she's got devil tail talking like a demon. Yeah. That's all true. Everything you just said is true. And I'm a little embarrassed by it, but yeah. Yeah. I have that was great here for the Bear. I love it. I have a feeling if you did a Google search during the time your channel grew for the Balkans, you'd see a huge spike. That's because we're huge in the Balkans. I don't know. I mean, I honestly don't know what it is, but I know like I could never go to the Balkans for many reasons, but it's too huge in the Balkans. Couldn't get a meal without being interrupted 6 or 8 times. Be annoying. Huge in the Balkans. I hope I'm not being a Joe. But this is starting to feel like a war of Israel versus the Catholics. That's why Netanyahu is investing into evangelical churches so much. Yeah, I mean, it feels to me like the American evangelical church has sort of already stopped fighting. I mean, they seem like they are on the other side. Baron, I donated too early. BB spills his coffee, an entire village has died. Bravo, man. Standing up. Hats off. Well, Courtney Clinton, you're welcome. You're welcome. Goodness gracious. Thank you. Today was brilliant. Very intuitive with putting pieces together, Baron. I need a link to that document you noted on FBI focusing on a list of Catholics. Please add it to the description section, please. Well, let me tell you how I found it. If you Google FBI domestic terror Catholics, you should find it. It'll be the very top thing that pops up on Google. FBI domestic terror Catholics. That's the search phrase I used. It was the very top thing that popped up. FBI domestic terror Catholics. Now that I've said it 4 times, YouTube is looking in going, what are you saying down there? So now I got to be good for a few minutes while they're watching. It's like when the principal comes in and the teacher all of a sudden acts like she teaches. You know, she's been letting you guys just like play euchre all week, all year, and you're sitting back there and you're flying paper airplanes. and the principal walks in. She's like, now everybody sit down. We're about to pick back up with our economics lesson. Quick. Hi, Baron. For an email tonight. Sent on 12/15 originally. Trigger Smart vid, timestamp, more video on chair and plastic pieces falling when the explosion occurs. From Holistic Coach Michelle. Well, thank you. I need to check that out. Because that is extremely valuable to what we're looking at right now. Add the wife fun. Wow, you went to the full other extreme on Erika, correctly so, in my opinion. As a widow, I saw it right away. She never loved Charlie. She wasn't grieving. Widows know we feel her. Oh, man, that is something. Holy mackerel, that's something. Wow, could the Vance endorsement be protection? Protection from what, young lady? Corinnia? Anna Corinnia? Oh, that's Corinna. Protection from prosecution, maybe? Maybe. Could be. Let's see here. I brought up NORAD, Guyot, Sam 000, Colorado Springs. Charlie barked at over Iran last night, but Barron showing Guyot's hearing of him okay with offing Americans is why I connected those dots. You're the best. Well, thank you, Amber Jean. Very kind words. Very kind words indeed. Fellow Catholic, mom of 7, Hoosier, IU alum. Wow, you've got everything going for you. Commentary is logical, level-headed, balanced with humility. 2-bullet theory by We Are Not Going to Mars. Been entertained on the RBP yet. Another perspective and plausible explanation for presented evidence. I haven't seen that 2-bullet theory. I will take a picture and check it out. Just because of your qualifications. No, I haven't seen that. I will be happy to check that out. I am not yet a fan of the fact that he was shot at all with anything. So, Dan Flood's boots on Charlie Kirk's assassination were Irish setters outlassy bought for their electric safety rating. Is that true? Is this true? For those of you who watch Hiller, you'll understand that. Dan Flood. Oh, hold on. I can't look up Dan Flood boots. That's not going to come up. Irish setters 83622. Is this true? Ooh, those do look like Dan Flood's boots. I'm leaving that pulled up. Do they have a electric safety rating? Or are you just pulling my chain? I'll check that out because they do kind of look like it. You don't need to read this out loud. Oh, too late. I just wanted to share an idea. I set up a merch store for you. If you like it, keep it. We'll talk. If not, scrub it. No change unless you keep it. Well, hey, it's been read out loud. Remember the old telethons that predate modern interweb? I do. Would love to see you and Ian host a modern day version platforming General Michael Flynn. You, Ian, and General Flynn having conversation, allowing moderate supers at the end. That would be interesting. What would we talk about? What would we talk? This person actually read the Odyssey. I taught it for 6 years. Oh, you had to read it. You were compelled. Charlie Kirk fulfilled all the criteria to be a tragic hero. Are you Tim Dillon's older brother? Do we look alike? Hold on. I got to put on a hat. I don't even have any sunglasses over here. I got readers. I can do my best Tim Dillon impersonation. Now, and then she said, I love Tim Dillon. That wasn't me making fun of him. That was me doing my very best impression, and I'm not a good impressionist. That was me doing my best. Tim Dillon. Bomb dog handler here. Local pricing. I'm in Southern California, 135, 4-hour minimum. Have dog will travel for $14K. Well, Shannon, we got to talk. Is it really only that? I'll pay for your travel if that's true. Maybe as soon as I said I want someone to meet me at UVU to check out the Charlie Kirk crime scene, the price started ratcheting up. Because I would pay that 4-hourly fee and a plane ticket there and back. Because it'd be way cheaper than the locals who wanted to just rake me over the coals as soon as I asked about it. Speaking of Charlie Kirk money, any idea why they sold their house 5 months prior to his death and were apparently living in an apartment? Also, Elizabeth McCoy was the one who recreated the tent. Yeah, I saw that about Elizabeth. Any idea why they sold their house? I don't think they were doing well. I hate to be the one to say it. I don't think they were doing well at all. I don't know that either one of them believed in divorce or that was imminent or they were in that kind of shape, but I don't think they were doing well. And I have reason to speculate that. I'm not just saying that. I wonder if the threat of Charlie changing the minds of his many followers and the pressure on Trump, especially after his near miss, led to no other choice than to take him out. It's all so disturbing, horrifying. Yeah, I mean, I think you're kind of there. Why does the Israeli martyr commander handwriting match Epstein? I didn't know it did. Why did his Entebbe commander become Epstein carbine partner? I didn't know they did. Why is there tech in Orem, Utah 911 since 23? I didn't know it was. Both born New York City, Charlie knew this world. Did he figure it out? About to drop a story. Send me a link when you do. I would love to read it. It sounds intriguing. I was talking to Ian about some of the Epstein stuff today. And I don't know if we'll talk about any of that tomorrow night or not, but we were talking about it today. It's not really in my wheelhouse. I haven't spent a ton of time on Epstein, other than like, please release everything and stop being silly. Bingo. You didn't need to connect the dots when you got the dot figured out. Well, thank you. Very kind. This is a fun for the guard dog. For a guard dog, for you and the family. I got a guard dog. You saw my guard dog. Were you here when I brought the guard dog on air? I mean, nobody's getting past her. They would be covered in saliva, head to toe. I mean, she would lick them all head to toe. She is not vicious. Not at all vicious. Wow, you're hitting me with the Latin. I got to look that up. And then you're going to say you're a bad Catholic because I don't know what it means. Dominus vobiscum. Don't tell me I pronounced it wrong. The Lord be with you. And with your spirit. And also with you, depending on, I think I know it's been 15 years under the new liturgy and I should know the rule by now, but are we supposed to still say, and also with you when they're not ordained? Because wasn't the justification behind the change to, and with your spirit, meaning there's something special about the ordination. So you don't just say, and also with you. Yeah, I shouldn't. They say it so fast and quick and muddly when you go to the Latin, man. Hi, Ben. You are so honest and so close to the truth when it comes to religious truth. Have you ever spoken to Jehovah's Witnesses? Come over to light, my friend. I have not spoken to Mormons. We got in good with the Mormon missionaries when we were at Auburn. I mean, they didn't like entice me, but we certainly talked to them a lot. No, I've never talked to Jehovah's Witness. I don't even know what their shtick is. Oh, no, I can't tell my Sean Penn story. I'll tell you a quick version. So I'm sitting at a hotel, like in the hotel bar. This is back when I was a drinking man. And I noticed there were a lot of like weird looking people in there. And I was meeting a friend of mine. And I was like, how did we end up here? He's like, oh, we're meeting somebody later and they want to meet around the corner. And I just looked on Google Maps and there was a bar right here. I was like, all right. He's like, so, I was like, do you know anything about this place? He's like, no. And so I was like, well, this place just gives me the creeps. It looks weird. He's like, yeah, but whatever. So we're sitting there, knock back a couple of drinks, meet up with his friend. And his friend says, where'd you guys come from? And we told him, he's like, oh my gosh, dude, that's a CIA bar. Like that's a, well, he said a spook bar. Now I said that on the show the other day, and someone thought I was making fun of black people. No, it means spook, like scare, like CIA people. And so I was like, really? And he was like, yeah, that's like a spy bar or whatever, where all those people go. And I was like, oh, well, it's funny you mentioned that because Sean Penn came in there. And he was like, that makes sense. I was like, he seemed to know everybody in the place. That's my Sean Penn story. So we got to brush arms with proof that Hollywood might be run by those people. Let's see here. It has almost been 3 hours. Holy mackerel. How does this happen every time? And I started an hour late. Bomb Dog Fun tomorrow is my birthday. First time super chat. Love your show. Go Max. Okay, so if we're at 5:30 or 5:80, I'll have to go back and count. But we're getting close to hiring the Bomb Dog girl. I'm gonna have to go back and screen cap that. I'm actually gonna have to get in touch with her, fly to Orem, Utah, and cart her dog over. Gonna have to figure this out. If you guys contribute to the Bomb Dog Fun like this, we're going to have to do a live from Orem. I'll wait till it's warmer. They're at altitude and it's cold. Odd, right before it came on your show tonight, YouTube recommended a 13-year-old video by Erika Kirk. The comments suggest it was a recent recommendation for many. September was 20 years sober for me. I wonder what that video was, Gen X Wench. I would love to see it. Was that the one her dad made? That totally creep fest video her dad made that she's in? That's one of the nasty, weirdest thing. Her dad apparently is a total goober, but he makes this YouTube video. I don't know if I could play it or not. I don't want to make fun of the poor guy. It might have me, muck ducked. But he makes this crazy video about being a prepper or something. And Erika's actually in the video. Like you pause it and you're like, wait a minute, that's her. I don't know. Why the intensification of the four-star general statement? Police chiefs and others give the same command every day to neutralize your own citizens. Is it just a shock to hear someone actually say they'll do it? Or no, here's the difference. When a police officer neutralizes a citizen, the standard is exigent circumstances, right? You can't just go around shooting people. That's not our justice system. Yes, does it happen? Unfortunately, yeah, but typically we would then try to investigate it, determine if a crime was committed. What he's suggesting is, I'll just do it on an order. You tell me I got him, coach. Put me in. I'm ready to deploy assets. And that concerns me. That's what worries me. All right, here we go. Love your lessons in the opening statements. I think I'm your long-lost sister. Changed my handle briefly. Haha. Bless you for your efforts. Wiggle. Nose grab. Head rub. Go Max. Bell jar water drinker. Ball jar water drinker. You got one. I'm a ball. Look, it says ball on it. This is a true ball jar from Indiana. So, yeah, I wiggle a lot. Guys, I can't help it. I'm not on drugs. I've seen people speculate, oh, he's on meth. He's on cocaine. I don't even drink alcohol. You think I'm on drugs? I do drink coffee. And I do drink coffee before the show, so maybe that's it. I usually have a cup around 4 or 5 o'clock in the afternoon. And so you might be getting a little of that. But no. Have 1 or 2 in the morning, 1 in the afternoon, go to bed. And I sleep like a champ. Wow. Annie Randall, $99. Just emailed you the side-by-side pics. Please check right now. All right, for $100, you can order me around. For $100, you can order me around. Man in blue shirt. Is it the man in blue shirt I'm trying to identify? Is that the one? Did you give me your handle? Annie Randall. Is this Annie Randall? No, that's different. That person's trying. Coleman Carroll ticket. No, when did you email me? No, I don't see one. Realbaronpodcast@gmail.com. I don't see any side-by-side. Oh, improved pick of the plane. Is that it? Is that what you're trying to send me? I don't know. I honestly don't know what you're trying to send me. I'm trying to find it. I see nothing. You said right now. What time was that? That was 8:50. What time was that? 8:51? Oh, mystery guy with backpack in Utah. I found it. Side-by-side pics. Got it. So that's image one. Oh, that is him. Who is that? Who is that? How did you find that? That's creepy, let's be honest. That's a little creepy. How did you find that? Danny? I'm not going to say his name. I don't want to dox the guy, but. Oh, wait a minute. Wait a minute. We might need to dox the guy. Didn't Erika tell Candace that one of the people Mikey McCoy called was a guy named Danny? Didn't she say that? I think she did. That one of the people that Mikey McCoy called after the thing, right before and right after, was Danny. I think she said that. Is it the same Danny? Because this guy, she sent me 2 pics, ladies and gentlemen, from the Charlie Kirk show. One from the Charlie Kirk show and one from Thought Crime, which was Charlie Kirk and Jack Posobiec, but Jack's not on the, thankfully, not on the show. Oh my gosh. Wonder if it's the same Danny. Because if so, he was there. Why was he calling him twice? Why were they the only 2 people in backpacks? Mikey had a backpack. This guy had a backpack. If it's Danny, Mikey and Danny had backpacks on. Mikey and Danny talked before and after. And here's the key. Danny seemed to know when Mikey got off the phone because he gets off the 3-way calls. And then 2 minutes later, if you remember, I'll have to pull this timeline back up. I don't have it in front of me. But 2 minutes later, Danny calls Mikey back as if he was aware. Was that him? If so, why? They were right next to it, like they were on the other sides of the stage. One's on the left side of the stage with a backpack. One's on the right side of the stage with a backpack. Neither one seemed fazed by the big bang. One turns around and walks off, and the other guy just looks up to see if the guy's fleeing off the Losi Center. I mean, that's what it looked like to me. I don't know what he was doing. But if the Losi Center's that way, he's looking over at Charlie Kirk, he sees the bang, and he just goes like this. And that's it. There's no like panic. Wow. Lynn, you may have just solved this. Not this, I mean solved it. But you may have solved a chunk that needs to be looked at. If it's the same Danny. Now I got to figure out if Candace got a last name on the Danny. That's Lynn. I shouldn't have said your name. Annie. Sorry. Annie. I'm sorry. I read the wrong name on the email. Her name's Annie, clearly. Annie Randall, 4788. Incredible. No, sir. You're a living legend. Thank you for your work. Thank you. Just here to say, wing, wing, psh. Made me laugh out loud. Hey, me too. If we can't crack ourselves up, who can we crack up? Our Father, prayer proven to raise vibrations of up to 100 people in proximity to praying soul. Wow. Studied by Heart Math Research. Our Father. Need to pray it. Yeah, we got to pray for Andrew. We got to pray Andrew out of this conundrum. Baron, can you explain why you picked the pictures on your wall? I've explained this before, but I'll do it quickly. I figure this is going to come up every now and then. So this wall, I'll do the big picture, and then I don't even remember what episode I did this in, but I did the tour last time. I've done the tour twice now. This will be the 3rd time. So this wall are people who were hated by the mainstream establishment. Some of them were shot by the mainstream establishment. Martin Luther King, John F. Kennedy, Jackson, Trump, and Teddy Roosevelt. So this area here, the 4 presidents and Martin Luther King actually shot by the mainstream establishment, in my humble opinion. Obviously, Rosa Parks, a revolutionary, agreed to take on an unbelievable role for civil rights and advance a ball that was not moving very quickly. So she is there. That's Booker T. Washington. Obviously, he basically built the Tuskegee Institute from the ground up, but was a confidant of Teddy Roosevelt, a very brilliant man, and paved the way for higher education among the African-American community to be taken to another level than it previously was offered to them. And here you have the unsung hero of America, Senator Joe McCarthy, one of the greatest Americans who ever lived, an absolute hero, also hated by the mainstream establishment. So all these people despised by the mainstream establishment, every single one of them. History has treated some of them better than others. Some of them have been treated better than others, but at the time they were not liked. A nurse here. HIPAA continues after death. Great show as always. All day I dream about Sir Bear. Your nickname has to start with Sir. I'll allow it. I will allow it. PewDiePie's brother. I'll allow it. Did you see there's a new Charlie Kirk documentary by Epic Times featuring Rob McCoy and TPUSA staff? I did not. I don't watch a lot of Epic Times stuff. That to me has a Daily Wire feel. And I'm probably not going to watch a lot of their content. Okay, this is from Rumble here. Nobody has. Where was I? Nobody's represented on the Rumble side in a minute, so I'm going to shout out to my fellow Hoosier Region Rats. Love your work, Baron. Yeah, you Region Hoosiers might get a Bears team. They're talking about moving to the Indiana side. I'm just telling you, pay attention. You might end up with the Chicago Bears being an Indiana football team. Don't say. I don't want to jinx it. But yeah, I don't watch a lot of. I do not watch a lot of Epic Time stuff. Some pushback, not that I think there was a bullet at all, but as a surgical NPOR, your info on the doctor's a little off. I'm always welcome to correction. Thank you, Justin, for correcting me. An ER doc does nothing but stop bleeding, and transfusion surgeon is indeed exploring the wound. They said he was rushed to surgery. Okay, well, then I stand corrected. I just don't believe the doctor is sitting there trying to figure out the cause of death. I think they're trying to save his life. You know, if they happen upon a bullet, then they might look at it and go, "Ooh, here's a bullet. Let's keep that for whatever." But I don't think they're digging around trying to find one another. That maybe I spoke poorly, and you added a little color. When did the Catholic thing start with the governor? Was it after Candace began investigating? Is it why they were upset? She sort of lied to Charlie. She sort of tied Charlie Kirk to Catholicism. Why is anti-Semitism hateful but not anti-Catholic? Well, we know why that is on the last question, but the gosh, that's a good question. I don't know when the thing started. I don't know. I mean, the reality is Catholics are not as easily 52-week Catholics. Again, not just people who were baptized and never went back to mass, but 52-week Catholics are not as easily moved on major social issues. That's not 100%. That's the bulk. And the more traditional Catholic you are, the less likely you are to be swayed by contemporary social issues. And so, if you're trying to push progressive issues in America, you're going to have a lot of pushback from traditional Catholics. And so if you wanted to label them in a way that to help get them out of your way, that's one way you would do it. Let's see here. Got another one on the Rumble side. My son wants to know who does your hair. You're a 1 on the side, 2 on the top? Oh, no, ma'am. I'm a 0 on the low. I'm a 1 or a half, and then a 1, and then a 1.5, and then a 2. And then up here, I don't get dusted very often. Every now and then they'll take a whack at it, but not often do I get up there. You'll notice if you hang around long, the hair goes very short and then it grows out, and very short and then it grows out, and very short and it grows out. It doesn't get too much longer than this very often. Every now and then I'll grow it out. Like probably the last grew it out 3 or 4 years ago. Grew it out a little bit. There you go, son. If you want to look like a 46-year-old man, That's the key right there. Oh, and then you got to hit the beard. You got to fade the beard too. Again, 2, 1, 0. You got to fade the beard. You can't just let the beard go. Then you look like Bushy. Your face will look all round. Helping you out over there, son. I don't know how old your son is. He might not have a beard. You never told us who the 3 wise men were. I tell everyone to subscribe to your channel. Your knowledge and laughter are contagious. Well, thank you, Pamela. Or Pamela P, probably. I did. Did I not? I think I did. I don't remember where it was now. It was the sons of Abraham he had by the other woman that he sent east. And it said he gave them everything and sent them east, meaning he gave them all the knowledge that he had. Obviously, the knowledge that Jesus was coming was passed down. And these were wise men, obviously very learned, probably taught them all the mystery ways. You know, I am a believer in these mystery schools. And so maybe that colors me a little bit. But I think these not church fathers, but these fathers of the faith were given great wisdom in this way. So Moses, Aaron, Abraham, I think Jesus might have even been educated in some of these ways. Became super fan, episode 38, when Joe was befuddled by daffodils in reenactment of who was MS saving a boy from a burning building? Oh, yeah, mouth-to-mouth chest compression. I love your honest, logical approach relayed through your sense of humor and wonderful laugh. Well, thank you, Bella Blue. You are very kind. Again, my sister, in response to the Joe thing, said, now everybody knows the brother I grew up with. I said, no, they get all of it. They get all of it. We have a very funny family. Our family spends a lot of time in laughter. Don't share. Oh. Y'all don't back that up and pause it. Don't back that up and well, now listen, you commented publicly. It ran through the comments, just common sensing it. I didn't know Kolvet thought so much of Gary that he wanted to put his mind at ease, but no one else's. Among others, JD being called, Trump's comment, the lack of action and reaction are the things no one's been able to explain away from me. There's a lot no one's been able to explain away from me. I'll move quickly since you didn't want me to show it anyway. I might be wrong, but didn't the doc only suggest it was a frangible round, not confirm, say it was one? I don't remember if you or Candace Owens said it. I don't think I said that, but I don't like, I could see them telling the doc, well, if you think a 30-06 round would have blown out this neck, I mean, what about like a frangible? Like, I could see them doing that because Gary had been talking about a frangible round. Nate had been on Nate from Valhalla VFT had been talking about frangible rounds from a long time ago. So I could see that they would have picked up, like, you know, in desperate need of a lifeline to something before they floated out into the ocean, you know, and then gone to the doctor and said, well, what about this? What about this? What about this? That's why I think the doctor wasn't in on it. All right. Came from Trigger Smart and he's bummed. You said, no. I did not say Candace Owens would show picks today. I did not say that. Did not. I corrected him this week. You're welcome. We're impatiently waiting. I'm telling you, I am really looking forward to Candace Owens. I didn't say she would show anything today. I said she was back today, and I know what I know. I'm not saying what she knows, but I never said she would show a pick today. But I would be shocked if you don't learn a lot more in the coming days about her investigation into Fort Huachuca. That's all. That's all. When General Giat says yes, if it's a lawful order, of course they'll support it being a lawful order after tons of government lawyers already signed off on the abomination of a DTO executive order. Of course. That's of course it. It's just CYA. It's just cover. Yeah, here's another person talking about his boots. Did that just come up somewhere today, or did you guys just talking about that? I own a pair and bought for that reason. Irish setters. Isn't Irish setter a dog? Am I crazy? Irish setter? Or is it an Irish settler? No, it's an Irish setter, right? I think that's a dog. I'm not big on dogs. I mean, I like dogs. They're fine. I like my dog. Could a shock from the hand mic cause the detonation of the mic on his chest? I have thought about that. Not that, well, it could have, yeah. Could it have, look, can I reword your comment, Renee? If I may. Could the electricity in the microphone somehow contributed to a reaction that caused his shirt to do what it did? Yes. I believe the answer to that question is yes. Wouldn't it make sense that maybe the call went out to Gary and Nate and maybe Sean Ryan from the current military guys serving, saying you got to adjust or course correct on your coverage out of allegiance, or maybe they were threatened, or yeah, maybe, I don't know. I'd like to believe Nate. I don't know about Gary because I don't know him, but I'd like to believe Nate would be above that. I mean, Nate's always seemed on the pretty up and up to me. I know he went really hard after Mitch Snow. Obviously, that wasn't right, and he kind of went after Candace too. But again, I don't judge people by their lowest moments, and I know that disappoints a lot of people because you want me to go after people, you want me to savage people, and that's just not my personality. Like if you give me a reason to, I could be a nightmare. But just because I disagree with someone's version of events or someone's coverage of something, I'm not just going to start savaging them. They do that to me. I get it. Not them, but people have done it to me. But I'm not doing that back. That's not who I am. That's not my personality. That's not who I want to be as a man. I'd rather look at it and say, I give Nate the benefit of the doubt. I like him a lot. And I think he probably genuinely felt almost a compulsion to attack Mitch because he felt like Mitch was dishonoring his organization that he feels a lot of pride and honor about. And I mean, I can understand that. Thank you for the generous donation. I think we all know what would come out of Erika Kirk exorcism. Sparklers, gold nuggets, and sequins. Yes. It would look just like that. It would look just, I got to hurry this up. It's 3:15. It's 3 hours and 15 minutes. It's Harrison staying quiet because his source was a dead end, or did he ever investigate? If he didn't, what's stopping him from breaking the biggest story of the decade? He said he doesn't want to out a source. Now, the commenter is asking about Harrison Smith, who works at InfoWars, said that a person close to Charlie told Harrison Smith that Charlie said Charlie was concerned people were going to kill him. I think he might have even said people from a particular country. I don't want to put those words in his mouth. I don't remember the story that well. But Harrison then said Charlie's dead. He obviously can't ask him about it. He doesn't want to out his source, so he's kind of letting the story die. Well, the FBI or somebody in law enforcement has contacted him, and Harrison has shared that information, I believe, with law enforcement. So I don't know that he thinks it's a dead end. Yeah, I think this was talking about the video the guy just sent me a little bit ago. So yeah, I think I watched that video, and that video was dynamite. That video was absolutely dynamite. Baron, last night my husband and I talked at length about Venezuela. Thank you, Bird Whisperer, first for the money, the $50 money donation. That's very, very kind. We then watched your breakdown of the situation. You wrapped this up in a perfect bow that no one else seems to have a talent to do as well as you. You made every angle make sense. Well, that's why I want to be here with you guys. I feel honestly, that's it. I feel like I have something to contribute to public conversation. To the extent that remains true, I will continue to be here. To the extent that one day I think the public is moving on without me, then I will be somewhere else. I go back to private practice of law or something. I don't know. But thank you for the very, very kind words and the very, very generous donation. I love that you're open about your faith. After hearing you and Candace talk about Catholicism the past few months, you inspired me to go to Mass for the first time in a decade. Christ is King. Linda LaBelle. That makes me so happy. That warms my heart so much, honestly. I can't wait to hear. I'm not going to hear about your first confession. I don't want to hear about all the gory details. But, go to confession, get justified, stay in there every week. Keep going back, Linda LaBelle. Keep going back. Stay in the sacraments. They are your protection in a very evil world. That makes me happy. That very much warms my heart. I don't think we should let Mr. Middle Name DuPont completely off the hook. Dr. Middle Name DuPont. I'm at an arm's length with him. How about that? Not that it really matters. The tenant Amfest wasn't the same one. It's missing the lightning bolt like the one he was neutralized under. Love the show. Isn't that ironic? Everyone is assuming Andrew's a believer. In my opinion, someone who's willing to take dirty money in any way doesn't have much of a spiritual side. Woo. Or maybe they're just in a really bad state of grace, or not in a state of grace. Public executions happen as an example. Was Charlie Kirk's murder a consequence for what someone in his military family did or did not do? Or a message for anyone else who might not want to toe the line and keep their mouth shut? Probably the latter. If it was indeed a message or consequence, it was probably the latter. This is interesting. I get this a lot. How are there no holes in his shirt if his mic if it I don't know if y'all heard that. It sounded like the world just ended out here. How are there no holes in his shirt if a mic exploded under his chest? Because explosions aren't always 360-degree explosions, right? You know, they're not always spherical. And they're not always like nuclear weapons going off. So if you directed, like a bullet is an explosion, but it's directed in a particular angle. So if your shirt is on the outside of the gun and the bullet is going that way, it's not going to have a hole in it. Now you hold a gun and it doesn't put a hole in your hand. So I don't know the answer to that. I don't know the specific mechanics. All I'm saying is the way his shirt moved, that was, in my opinion, that was propelled from under his shirt, and that needs to be investigated and solved. That needs to be solved. Baron, I gave you a shout out on Lionel Nation yesterday. I like Lionel. Told my wife last night I think Candace is onto something. I told her how I am now hooked on your commentary on this subject. Well, thank you, Glenn, for all of that and more. Diehard rep here, diehard Republican here. My mom's a politician fighting for people like us. I'm starting to lose faith in the Trump administration. Also, my friend Bradley used to work for you and messaged you over Christmas break. I know exactly who Bradley is. Bradley's great. Bradley's great. Bradley was a door-knocking machine back in the day. And just a sharp political operative. I don't know what he's doing these days, but I'm sure he's in politics somewhere, and I'm sure he's making a tremendous difference at the grassroots level. Bradley was great. Georgia, thank you for that generous donation. Good luck to your mother, and keep fighting the good fight. Keep fighting the good fight. Thank you very much. Hoping a TPUSA insider will come forward to blow the whistle, but realize they may fear for their own lives. Is there really anyone they could trust at this point to keep them safe should they come forward? Grateful for your leap of faith. Christ is King. Thank you first for the generous donation, Just Jules. Hoping a TPUSA insider will come forward. I don't know that will happen. And here's why. It could be they fear for their own lives, but it also is at some point your cover up, you become part of the crime. And so it's the crime is a continuation. It's not just the moment of the crime, but it's everything that takes place after the crime. And if you were aware of all this and you didn't say, oh, hey, the guy they're holding just showed up with a gun, he didn't really do anything. And you lose sort of the moral ability to extract yourself from culpability. I don't know if there's anyone they could trust at this point to keep them safe. I have offered for Andrew safe passage, and we could keep him safe. I have word from people who could keep him safe, make him, take care of him and all that. But he's got to come to his senses. He's got to come to a sense of Jesus. I mean, he just does. Like Jesus is what's going to save Andrew, not thinking his way through this logically, because thinking his way through this logically has caused him to be where he is. I've been waiting to tell you how much you remind me of Rush Limbaugh, whom I listened to for years. I'm thinking it's because you are upbeat, fun, and very entertaining. Thanks for all you're doing. Go Backs. I'm telling you, that is without a doubt the highest level of praise you could give me. I actually cried when Rush Limbaugh died. Genuinely cried. And I don't cry. Like, I'm not a crier. I cried when he died. I adored the man. I listened to him for literally decades. I mean, probably 20 years or more. And he was a huge reason why I wanted to be in broadcasting to begin with. Not that I wanted to try to be Rush 2.0 or try to patterned my career or my style after Rush or anything else, but I loved the way you could read all the conservative commentators. You could listen to all the conservative newscasts. You could watch Fox News. You could listen to Hannity. And then you listen to Rush and you go, oh, that's how it all comes together. He would just give you he wasn't going to tell you what everyone else was thinking. And that was the commitment I made to myself when I went on the radio. I'm not just going to sit here and tell you the Fox News version of events. If I can't give you a unique spin, I'm just not going to cover that area. Like, I'll just mention it and move on. Or I'll just give you the factual determination. I'm not going to give you an opinion if it's just the same opinion everybody else is telling. I mean, that was it. And so those words right there just cut right to the soul. Substitute Catholic for Jews in the FBI report. That would be problematic. You set the world on fire if you do that. From Arizona, it rained September 8th and 9th. Check. What's SM of people in area? It barely rains in most of Arizona. My town went over a year without rain. If it rained, it should be easy to prove. Check my gallery. Rained here that week. I know that there were different weather, and the best I could tell is because, like you identified, Arizona is not one of these places that just gets inundated with massive thunderstorms that last all day all over the state. You know, like in Tennessee, we get that a lot. Very green state, but I just realized you can see where I was wearing these headphones earlier while I was doing a little production. So some weather services that are showing for the Sierra Vista, Fort Huachuca area show no rain. Some show rain, but I think it's just based on like, are they picking up at the airport? Are they picking up across town? Do they have whatever? Thank you for the date night fund. We'll use it wisely. We'll use it very wisely. Danny McCoy is the name from the call log. Yes, but if you remember when she covered it, she said it wasn't Danny McCoy, and that was a typo. That she thought it was Danny McCoy and then made a mistake, and it wasn't Danny McCoy. And she said it was another Danny who worked at TPUSA. Go back and watch the tape. I'll tell you when it was. She covered the call log. She went to a break. I think she did like 2 live reads, maybe 3. And then coming back in from the live read, she was like, hey, we made a mistake. The Danny is not Danny McCoy. That's a different Danny. It's another Danny who worked for Charlie Kirk at TPUSA. What are the odds? Like, I'm still looking at this picture. It looks just like him. Looked just like him. I'm not saying he did anything wrong. I just would like to know. I don't know. If we had $1 for every time Barron tells us he's trying to keep a live short or quick. Yeah, here I am at 340, 325. I like interacting with you people. Okay, trying one more time. Not the pics I'm talking about. Oh, but happy for the connection. I was talking about the Paul Singer Egyptian plane pic connection. I think it was him caught in that pic of person in Egyptian plane window. Email titled Paul Singer link. You did not have to give another $100 for that. You could have just emailed me. But thank you. Paul Singer link. There it is. I got it. Okay. I'm looking. I knew I recognized the glass. Oh, you actually do go by Annie Randall. I am so convinced this is him. I knew I recognized the glasses and big bald head. Well, he probably takes exception to the way you just described him. And it just makes too much sense as the missing link here and money behind everything, especially where this is going. Go Max. Man, it does look just like him. Holy mackerel. Golly, that looks just like him. Why would he be on an Egyptian plane, though? Guy's a billionaire. You don't think he can afford his own ride? But man, you are right. That does look like him. Holy mackerel. Big bald head. You can't say that. That's got to be like racist or something. I've been watching from the beginning. I think the Joe crash out was amazing. I have some VIN numbers for those rental cars. I'll be sending them over. Congratulations for full time. Michael Mindy, thank you. Send those over. Email them. realbaronpodcast@gmail.com. K9 Fun, Christ is King, go Max. Christ is King indeed. Go Max. For anyone thinking of clipping my don't share joke, clip this instead. Every time I hear Gary the Larry the Cable Guy song, Donnie the Retard plays in my head. what Gary said have done. I don't know why, but it does. Now that was a hard R in there. Oh gosh. All right, here we go. Mikey McCoy call log 12:02. Danny calls Mikey McCoy. 12:03. No, now Charlie wasn't shot at 12:03. You say 12:03, Charlie. He was shot at 12:23. Calls all the others. Last call log on Danny's 12:35 for 10 minutes. Yeah, I'm wondering who that Danny is. If that's the same Danny. Okay, Baron. Oh. And now, after hearing what you have about Erika Kirk and the elephant in the room, say maybe Erika Kirk was actually leaving hotel with her ex. Curious how long she was actually there. Why would you meet an ex at a hotel? Just a little something on the side. I am not going to speculate on that. I'm not going to speculate at all that she was leaving a hotel with an ex. I mean, even though I think she might have a lizard tail and talk like this, I'm not going to speculate. I probably should, but I'm not going to. Please don't forget, Andrew Kolvet is a crisis PR agent by profession and an okay to moderate one at best. There are many former crisis PR employees who left the business because they were required to lie. Many others choose whatever it takes. Yeah. I'll take a couple, maybe one more here. How is this an investigation when the FBI, Utah State Police, etc., are not investigating anyone except for Tyler Robinson? They're not even investigating the femboy furry. We don't know. We don't know that. I hate to pull the lawyer card, but we really don't know. They might be investigating other people. But if they're not investigating other people, it's a problem. It's a problem. Guys, I appreciate it. You guys, as always, are amazing. The single best audience in the entertainment business, period, end of story, in podcasting and radio and whatever you want to call this. Being on air, you guys are the best, period, end of story. I have so much fun on this program. Reading your comments is without a doubt the highlight of my night on the air. I have so much more fun with that than the stuff I prepare. And I spend hours doing that, and I just wing these. But it's fun. You guys are great. You make me laugh. You make me cry sometimes talking about when you guys mention you lost a spouse or even a cat. I mean, I agree with you. But guys, in all seriousness, look, we need to pray for Andrew. Like, that's the only thing that's going to save him. We got to pray for him. Because right now, I believe he has been caught in deep dishonesty. Again, I'm not ascribing guilt to anyone, not Erika or Andrew or anybody else, because I can't say for certain any of them have done anything. But what I can say is I'm very concerned about some of the allegations in light of what Candace is saying she has solid sources on. It seems to indicate there's some dishonesty coming out of there. And if that's the case, we need to pray for these people. Keep sending me your tips. I enjoy reading them. realbaronpodcast@gmail.com. Like the show, like this actual program, this episode. Like that down there at the bottom. I don't know if we have. Yeah, see, we're still only at 12,000 likes. You guys, there's 15,000, almost 16,000 of you still hanging on 3.5 hours later. And we still only have that many. Come on. Click the like button, subscribe to the show, share it with your buddies, send it to mom, send it to cousin, Leslie. Check this guy out. You're going to like it. We have a good time in here. Join the program. We're having fun. Yeah. Hold on. Actually, hold on. Great show. I live in Sierra Vista. My view is Fort Huachuca. This place is crazy weird. My sister's coming to visit this weekend, so we can go check out Fort Huachuca. Not sure what you're looking for. I don't even know what I'm looking for, frankly. It was Danny McCoy on the phone. Yeah, no, we checked that. It wasn't Danny McCoy. Sorry, I'm catching up on my grumblers. Yes. All right, great group chat on the grumble tonight. You grumblers are the best. There's still 80% of them are still hanging on. Guys, enjoyed it. We'll be back. Oh, I stole that from Coach Cullen. Guys, again, let's all say some prayers tonight for that whole crew. They need it. And we all need it. I mean, say some prayers for me too. We all need it, but Andrew in particular, I just want to bomb that guy with prayers right now. And everybody remember, Jesus loves you. Tomorrow night, Ian. Tomorrow night on with Ian. Jesus loves you.